Welcome to the den. Good afternoon. I hope that everybody is doing well. I hope that life is treating you good. I think I probably have to reinstall that. That's the only thing I can freaking think of. Let me do this in the background while we're doing that. I'd like to welcome. My name is Ed Honcho, and again, I hope that everybody is here. I hope that everybody is enjoying themselves. Uh, So, as you will see, for whatever reason, YouTube decided it was an okay idea to go ahead and remonetize me. I've done nothing different, didn't change anything up. All I did, I clicked the fucking button before the stream yesterday because I was just like, fuck it. Because they told me like a month after last time I got rejected that I could reapply, but they was like, you got to delete these videos and do this and this. So I figured I'd just wait a little bit and then just click the button and see what happens. And they're like, well, give us about a month till we get back to you. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And yeah, notice not that long ago, I put a message in the Discord that they monetized it, right? Crazy stuff. So with that being said, yeah, you definitely have access to the super chat, and if I get this fucking bot fixed, we'll be having some other shenanigans going. Unfortunately, I was trying to go back and see if there was any way to connect those who had an old membership with the new thing, but because it's been so long that it was out, which, yeah, I guess it's out for a while, that I couldn't reconnect it with the old one. So my apologies for that. Um, Give me just a moment. I'm trying to get this fucking bot fixed. All right, so let's see who we have joining us. We're going to get into a conversation. So there's a new movement going on known as the 4B movement. And I know some of you see the black woman on the thumbnail and you would say, well, this must be a 4C movement, right? No, absolutely not. I'm talking about 4B. And I want to explain what it means. It's a feminist movement coming out of Korea, but a lot of women in America are starting to adopt it. And I'm just curious if it holds the same weight in America that it does in Korea, right? And again, I'm going to explain why I kind of think it's a ploy. It's another scheme to try and trick, women into these odd beliefs, right? Because I'm explaining exactly what's going on. And women don't realize how much other women dupe them, right? How much other women mislead them. And I think it's a situation where you got to really look into it and, you know, details are. So, Schmicky, I was probably change the thing. Like for whatever reason, it's not been letting me change the information in the fucking in the title when I make it. Like if I save it and I go back and try to fix it, it's been doing weird shit. Uh, Smicky, let's talk about it. Always good to see you. Broderick's here. We already know he has little hat syndrome. Hello, Heidi. How was your day today? Are things well in Heidi land? Have we kept the patient loss to a minimum? I hope so. Diddle-it, 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 diddle. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Um, who is due? St. Lou. Get to work, nigga. What's the motherfucking deal? Shannon Washington, good to see you. Always good to see you. Four BBW, man. That's a movement I can get behind. You give me four BBWs. We're gonna get this party started. You know what I'm saying? Uh, D Yates, kiss my ass. I really don't give a shit what you feel. Uh, you're more than welcome to fuck off or sit down and shut the fuck up. Let's see. Dolores Law, good to see you, as always. Manny Lamont, always good to see you. Yes, R.I.P. to Lou Gossett Jr. R.I.P. to Lou Gossett Jr. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Do. DAs versus Jackie. Diaz and these nuts. Anyway, so let's talk about it, right? So let's talk about it. There is Michelle's here. Um, so there's this movement going on, right? So I'm gonna let you hear it out of the mouth of women themselves as to what's going on. Because women go through things that I, as a man, I absolutely cannot understand. I will never understand. I may try my hardest to uh, walk a mile in their shoes, right? But they don't really make women's sizes as large as mine. So there's that. Um, Michelle's not a fresh ingredient. She's not involved in the sauce or anything. She's salt in the sauce. Michelle is a dangerous dinfolk. You gotta watch out for the Michelles of the world. They can be very problematic. SYSBM. So anyway, like I said, getting back to it. I'm gonna play you a couple of clips. I got a couple of things I want to show y'all. Not all of it is 4B related. Let's get the bullshit out of the way, and then we'll focus on the 4B stuff, and I'll dive into that and as to where we're going with that whole thing. So I keep telling you that certain people are very, very dangerous, right? I tell you about certain people who support things, who wear certain things, who move a certain way. I'll tell you all about getting your kids these shoes of players they've never seen play, right? And then this is the crazy part to me, right? Because they live in the age when I ain't never seen nobody jacking anybody for LeBrons, right? I guess we made a full circle back to the '90s. We're still in Jordans again. This is what we're back doing, or did that never stop? Did I miss out on that? So here's my thing, right? Especially when it's like groups of motherfuckers still in Jordans. I'm gonna show y'all a video, y'all. But Hunter, what you talking about? Like y'all ever see like a story where like two or three niggas rob one nigga for his Jordans? Now, one, the odds of these three niggas wearing the same shoe sizes is probably difficult to determine, right? Then like who gets to wear them? Who gets them first, right? Is there like a fight over that? And then so like who gets left out? Because what if you don't fit the shoes? And you just committed a serious crime for nothing, right? To split the shoes between three niggas. But again, the mentality of people who move like this, the mentality of people who move like this, and I may have some angry black women mad at me because some goofy, arrogant broad with faux locks in her head thinks she's more attractive than she is. So that's a whole Instagram thing. I promise, I never say anything rude. I just say, I may just offer a dissenting opinion, but I never say anything rude. And they try to go for everything they can but when they don't understand is when the motherfucker, one, when you don't give a fuck about nobody else's opinion, and two, when you're confident in the person that you are, all random attacks from strangers on the internet mean absolutely nothing, right? And so that's the funny thing about it because you see motherfuckers get all wired up and triggered up behind some shit, and it's really funny to me, and they think they really say, yeah, yeah, we got to, bro. I don't give a fuck. There's when you go outside and you can pull 11 bitches that look exactly like that without no effort. So again, women live in their own worlds, and I just want to help women see the light because I want y'all to have the best lives. I want y'all to be living your best life. Stop listening to other women. Stop taking advice from other women because in reality, women don't care about you. They don't really want to see you do well. They just want you to be another story that they can talk about. So I'm gonna show y'all this. I'm gonna show y'all this Easter. Participate in any of these holidays, holy days. Some of you may call them. Some of you may call them other things. Some of you may call them pagan. Yeah, I don't participate, but if it's a part of your tradition, I'm not knocking it. You do what you do. Oh, it's on roll. I was playing. So there we go. So there we go. All right. Okay, just had to make sure that that was working as it's supposed to be. Make sure I plug this up. All right, so I'm gonna show you a video, sad stuff that's still going on. Right, I start off topic, so if you didn't know, now you know. Check it out.
A 17-year-old from Washington, D.C. was shot and killed after a 16-year-old asked him to take his Jordans off and give it to him. So look, according to the reports, just 4 days after receiving the $200 tennis shoes, a 16-year-old wearing a hooded sweatshirt approached him on a basketball court and pointed a gun at him and said, "Give me those shoes. Take them off." A witness said, "I seen the 16-year-old approach him, and seconds later they started fighting. And then I seen the 17-year-old run away, but the 16-year-old wouldn't give up, and he ran behind him. And next thing I know, I heard gunshots." The 17-year-old was found about a half block away, and he had been shot twice in the back, and his shoes were gone. He was only left in his socks. One of his friends who found him on the ground said, "I kneeled down beside him and held his hand as he laid there dying, and he whispered in my ear, 'Man, this hurt.'" The 17-year-old died less than 2 hours after making it to the hospital, and the 16-year-old who shot him knew him from the neighborhood. Let me say this here. If you find yourself in a similar situation like this, and somebody trying to take something from you, I don't care.
I don't care about the rest of what he was fucking talking about there. But yeah, this is what we're doing nowadays, right? Very unfortunate the bad white man made us do this to each other. You know, that bad white man Jordan, that bad white man who put the gun in his hand. When we gonna start realizing we got to do better towards our own black folks, white people? Well, just enjoy the show like some of the rest of us. But niggas still over Jordan. Like, not even Jordan. They sitting over what? Reissues. These ain't even new shits. Like $200. Nigga catch a bot. Nigga throw his whole life away for $200. That's what happens when you fucking exactly. Like, that's what happens when you value material shit, right? When materialistic shit. And you get raised by people who value nothing but materialistic shit. And I'm not just saying single women, because we in our community, we have this affinity. Remember when Kanye said a little while back, if they don't got land, they'll take a brand? It's been said many a time that, easy way you sell something to black folks, just sell them something high-end, something name brand. It doesn't even matter that it's it may not be a superior product. It may not even be a more quality product. You just put a name on it. And because everybody else is buying it, they will. A la Turkey Leg Hut, right? I meant to talk about this. I meant to get some stuff about this. But apparently it looks like Turkey Leg Hut is going to be shutting down. They just filed bankruptcy. I mean, we just talked about not that long ago that they weren't paying their employees. There's some infighting, some suing going amongst the owners, and I guess the original owners. We know that everything got put in the streets, right? I'm gonna save this. Because I'm gonna go on a tangent that I might need to save for this evening. I'm gonna stick to the 4B. So that's sad to see, right? Rest in peace to that young man. So when I tell you that these kids get worse and worse, younger and younger, they care less and less. This is kind of part of the thing that I'm talking about, right? And another little story for you, very sad. Actually, in this story, I don't feel bad for anybody involved, like the outcome of everything. I want y'all to tell me, not the shoe one, but the story I'm about to play. I want y'all to tell me who is the bad guy and who is the good guy in this story, right? Just listen. If you need me to play it twice, I'll play it twice. Just tell me what you think. Well, I guess I should select it first.
Today we got a 15-year-old girl who was shot and killed inside Detroit after setting her date up to get robbed. 15-year-old girl who goes by the name Jania Brown was taken on a date by a 22-year-old man who picked her up from her home. Here's when things take a crazy twist. While in the car with her date, Jania told her date that she had to use the restroom, so she asked him, can he stop by an unknown location so she could urinate? That's when 3 guys approached his vehicle. They robbed him and they took his car and then they drove off. The next day, Jania Brown was found dead in the same car that they carjacked. Now, the police are investigating this, and they don't know if the robbers did it, or was it her date, the one she set up. Let me know what y'all think in the comment sections below.
So we have rogue moderators in here. Terrible. Somebody needs a spanking. On hands. I be seeing all them dating, like, I don't trust none of them. Not a now, none of them. Not a now, none of these dating sites. Dating sites, and it's super crazy. I be saying, well, I don't know. I'm not. They're fucking fuck sites. That's basically all it is. Dating sites got like two things in the profile: what you like to eat, and how much money you want a motherfucker to make, and a bunch of fucking pictures. I don't understand why he doesn't want to get to know. Bitch, you got half your pictures with your ass out. Niggas out here trying to flex their homeboy. They trying to flex what's his name? Polo shirt, the little baby blue and white one. My boy. I forgot his name. The nigga old school. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I am getting older. Don't mind all that. Don't call me no fucking Unc. That's weird. Unc is a weird. Like I ain't got no fucking none of that. Don't call me Unc. Right? Don't call me Unc. You call me anything else. I'd rather be called School than Unc. Right? But anyway, so 15 with baby hairs is crazy work. Like, ladies, I just want the best for y'all. I promise. Like I say a lot of stuff, and generally it's targeted at a specific group. Because here's the thing. I've always believed when somebody stops saying something, that's when they stop giving a fuck. Right? Because like, say if I didn't talk about a particular, what, you just ignored them? Say, I don't even fuck with them. I'd rather not even engage with them. I just, spend my time affectionately praising another group, but never speaking negatively of a group. Or you're speaking negatively of a group because you want them to do better, but instead they take it very offensively. Stop perming your children's heads. Stop putting fucking weed. Stop putting lace front. Like, it should be illegal to put, like, just like cigarettes and shit. It should be illegal for you to be like under 18 with a lace front. I'm sure there's some kind of chemicals in there that we can put some kind of ban on it, like cigarettes. That's what's making all these women, like, perms and lace fronts should be illegal for people. Like, I get it, y'all. It's cool to let the kids go pick their genders and all that. Fuck that. They can't pick the lace front. The fact that what happened to protective styles, right? What happened to protective styles? Like it's what is with the forehead epidemic? Right? Because I mean, let's be honest. Most of you broads, I'm older, man. Your line ain't once what it was when I was 18. I can accept that, right? But if I go get lined up, don't put no fucking Beijing on me. Don't put like I would. That shit is insulting to me. Like let me earn my crown, right? Let me show my age. Like motherfuckers will have a whole 5 head, slap some fucking 299 baby hairs on there, and then had a nerve to talk about a motherfucker hair. Like bitch. I'm not even talking about her. I'm just. This is why I get so frustrated when I be on the internet, because women be saying crazy shit and niggas be too worried about getting some pussy to say anything. Like, I don't give a fuck about it. Like, nigga, it's like 4 billion bitches on the planet, right? If you piss one off, guess what? It's way more of them than us. Say whatever the fuck you want to. Like, yeah, so you be sassy. It's just, I don't want your pussy, bitch. I don't really care. I'll tell you whatever the fuck I want to. I'll tell you what motherfucker should have been telling you. But this is crazy work right here, right? Like you 15-year-old, you setting motherfuckers up. One, we talk about looking juvie-ish, and because there's some girls that to be grown. This looks like a child. This bitch looks like a fucking kid. She looks like an undeveloped fetus, right? Like here, she looks like an undeveloped fetus. Like, and if you're a dad and you let you got one of them baby, like do everything in your power to get your kid so they don't end up like that. Like, and I know it's not easy. And I know it's a cold game out there. But man, look. It like when you cutting, you taking your real hair and just trying to pull a few little strands out and wipe it down. It's a comb over. That's basically what it is. It's a comb over. Like women are rocking comb overs, calling them baby hairs, and thinking they look good. I bet you got alopecia. But again, the races, like I say, just look. But again, people nowadays as a whole, like motherfuckers 25 and like people, is it just me? Right? Is it just me? And I'm not talking about everybody, but the majority. Like, have y'all ever seen videos from like I saw a video of high schoolers in 2003, which was when I came out, right? Seniors in 2003. And they showed like a more recent class. People look like they're less and less developed. Like back then, people like at 18, you damn near looked like I won't say you looked like a grown up, but it was just like people looked slightly more adult, like slightly formed into the human frame. These motherfuckers still look like undefined sperm. Like just wipe all of that off. They don't look like the little end of the sperm. It just need a little tail on it. Like that's what it looks like, right? You class L3. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. Yeah, yeah. I can only imagine what they look like in Mexico, right? So anyway, they don't look normal. They don't look like that's what I'm saying. Like the motherfucker. But that's the crazy part is because even like adultier adults, like I said, at 25, they looked malformed. They don't look right. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Oh, we didn't got to start. Everybody drop your class in the thing. We're gonna see where we stand up in here. Shout out your class. We're gonna see who classmates in this motherfucker and who ain't. But yeah, anyway, the pedo pop him. She deserved to get popped. You want to be a setup bitch, you get popped. You think like this is the thing that these little goofy bras don't understand, and this is why you need a stand up father. This is why you need somebody to represent what's right because they love the action. They love being involved. Like it's a lot of motherfuckers, and that's why I say shout out to Shannon before Heidi was being a complete hater, right? And
You are a hater.
right, yeah, that's right.
You are a hater.
Well, that ain't do what I'm supposed to do. Hold on, we're gonna fix it right. I actually caught myself doing the thing. Appreciate the super chat. So look at her, bro. She looked cold hard, dead inside, no pun intended. Pedo guy, lost girl, Jackers, all bad. And the Jackers was the one who survived, right? That's what I'm saying. Look, y'all niggas gotta understand this, bro. Y'all gotta understand this. And I need y'all to understand this, right? When I say what I've been saying, I don't say shit. I promise y'all, I don't say shit for the sake of saying shit. A lot of these things, it ain't always just pulling stuff off the internet. These are things that I've known that have either been around people around me or stories that I can point you to, and then maybe I find something in common. These children, your children, I hate to tell you, at this day and age, 8 times out of 10 ain't shit. Right? If they're not coming from a functional family with structure, and I'm not even saying necessarily that it's got to be mom, dad, this, and this. You can provide structure as a single parent. Most just don't because they got too much other shit going on, right? So I'm not sitting here saying, oh, as a single, you cannot. You can. It's difficult. It helps to have a team. Village raises a child. And shout out to Professor Trill as the first new super chat since the den has been remonetized. Oh, you can do likes on the super chats now. Cool. But yeah, you gave these kids phones. These kids have access to information that one you have no idea because you don't even know it exists because you didn't get into stuff like this and you're still but they have access to information that we weren't figuring out to some of us, the more degenerate ones of us, 16, 17, 18 years old. They're holding this shit at 7, 8, 9 years old. They're getting it way years earlier, and all they got to do is type it into the phone. They can't even talk, blah, 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 and they say in the phone. Now they're getting all kind of information. And then what do people do when they get new information? Right? They engage in it. There's more activity going on in these schools than you truly want to know. It was bad when I know motherfuckers used to be acting a fool when I was in. What no phones, what no this, no that. Imagine having that full-time tether. These little motherfuckers got group chats. These little motherfuckers are doing all kind of devious shit. I seen one story guy was talking about the other day how 5 little girls invited his son. He was the only one, put him in a little group chat, and he called him up and said, "Nah, we're not gonna do this because what's gonna happen is ultimately them 5 little girls will set that little boy up, and then he'll be the one that's in trouble because they decided to do some devious shit." Especially young women now are much worse than the boys, right? Because they're spoiled, and then their actions are always validated or justified. With the boys, they just going out there, they're gonna be hard headed. They're gonna do what they're gonna do naturally. I don't believe the school system is set up for young men appropriately. That's a whole nother conversation. But let's talk about it. Poor righteous teacher. Haitian food. 1987 might have been peak America. Might have been, after I brought in the new era. But again, everybody in this story fucked up. I said that on the video. Beyonce said I was a bad person because I said everybody deserved to die. But everybody involved in that whole video deserved to die. So, no questions about that. All right. Let me show you this thing real quick. This teacher got fired for her moonlighting gig. And no, it wasn't OnlyFans. It was actually, if y'all were to guess what second job would get a teacher fired? Let me give you a couple of hints. She's a black teacher from Detroit. Right? Besides OF. It's not an OF. Shout out to Let's Talk About It. So let's talk about it.
Motown baby going crazy like the 80s. Motown baby going crazy like the 80s. Motown baby going crazy like the 80s. I put it on the floor when I dare bitch. Taking niggas running around the city. Owe me money, shit is silly. Buy my money just like 50 hoes. Mad I got the Rory and the juice. Nah, bitch, fucking shit. I'm from the 4-2-1-9. This nigga texting me when I ain't look like the time. He get my time doing, bitch, I'm always on the grind. I'm just getting started if a nigga don't run. The money
is, what is the value of 255? Scott.
5,000.
5,000 is the correct answer. Digits 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 can be arranged to Scott.
60.
60 is the correct answer.
But she dropping bars, though. She dropping bars, though, right? This is what I say. When they're talking about oppression and all this other fucking shit. What do I tell you? I tell you, why do all these black female teachers rap so much? Why are they always rapping? Like, where is this beneficial? Where is rap? Start breaking down topics as I think of them. Right. Anyway, I got a couple other good ones I want to talk to you. Again, rapping. Would you want this to be your child's teacher? Remember the one that had the kids singing Ski Yee? Everybody was, oh, it's harmless. So imagine learning this Ski Yee alphabet song, but then your mama playing the real Ski Yee, and you're like, oh, that's the alphabet song. I love it. Turn it up. And then you hear what is really going on. What do you think they start gravitating to, the alphabet song or to the other shit? These teachers have been coming online and telling y'all your kid's favorite song, your kid's favorite artist is Sexy Red. She has not made one child appropriate song in the history of appropriate for children music. She ain't got no, like, even her edited version is terrible, right? It's all extremely bad. It's all extremely bad. And yes, I got your message. We'll start on that next week. It's difficult, right? It's difficult because I have to take a certain approach. But I hear you. I hear you. Shout out for the text message. So again, we keep seeing this. And those were all former students. I want to say they're all former, probably some currents too. If you're that in tune with your students, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Should your students be on with you on a rap video shoot? And if you're an educator and you rap, why not rap about educational stuff? I mean, if we're gonna do it, why are we rapping about educational stuff? All right, let me get these ratchets out the way, and then we're gonna get onto the topic of the day, the 4B, and then we'll take some calls. Give me just a second. So let me get a couple of these little things out of the way, and we're gonna start ramping it up so you can understand the world that we live in.
What do you look for in a man?
I like black niggas. I just look for black guys with a good personality, they know how to dress. Black men with loyalty.
Standards are so fucking low.
Yeah, black men with loyalty, because niggas be hoes.
Let's say he broke, but he loyal. You fucking with him?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm broke, but like I get my own money. I can't stay with a man that doesn't provide for me. Like I want a real nigga. Like of course I have my money and he has to have his. Like I can't fuck with no real nigga. He has to have something going.
Later on that night, they probably both got smashed by the same broke nigga. Like, we just be talking. Probably that night, they both got ran through in the trap by the weed man and some of his cohorts. They ain't even leave with a sack. They only got to smoke the weed that was already rolled up. Oh man. Yeah. So this is what I'm telling you. I'm on it. I might try to do something this weekend. I just gotta find the right location. And see, because my thing is, yeah, I just gotta find the right location. I don't want to go with the slowers. I'm gonna go with the good people to see if we can get good response. All right. So this is what kind of got this conversation started today. So I'm gonna play you a couple of little clips, all related gradually to the 4B movement. So I'm gonna play you a conversation from The View. I'm gonna play you a conversation defining what the 4B movement is, and then two other women giving their opinions on the 4B movement. And then I'm going to play you a video with a few facts into it, and then we're going to kind of dive into it, and we'll take some calls and make sure we share your thoughts on this. So I'll make this as expeditiously as possible.
So there's this clip going viral online of a dozen women being asked the following question: do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no. So why do you think that is?
They all answered no. If you saw the clip, if you've seen it, I'll try to find it later while we're on the stream. They all answered no. Shout out to Heidi. I appreciate it. Does it increase the wife's number? Only if she bites the box. Or well, we can get into some we can get into some we can get into some details about that. People are into weird things, Heidi. So we'll talk about that after I show these clips. But thank you for it's not super saucy. Thank you for the denizen donation. Hold up, baby.
Because men are useless.
Broadly speaking, I feel like men have proven largely useless. Like I think in the political moment.
And by the way, I want to differentiate between straight men and gay men, because I think I would die without gay men.
Excuse me, the ABC Network, which is hosting this show, would have canceled the show if it were a panel of men saying that women are useless. I see the producer right there. I wonder what you think about this one. Y'all would have called them misogynists, and the media would have destroyed the lives of those men. That's something to reflect on. And aside from that, everything you just said were emotional responses, but that's to be expected from a low IQ panel.
So there's this.
Now, of course, the last bit of editing wasn't real. But do you see what I'm saying? Then people get up here and they huff and they puff and they say, these are old, bitter women at this point, of course. But if this was a panel of men and you've never seen this in your life, you've never seen a nationally syndicated television show, you've never seen a nationally promoted television show, award-winning, for whatever reason, television show where a panel of men sat up there and said, man, whew, bitches are losers, bitches are trash, they are useless. You've never seen it. And if it did, do you know it would be canceled immediately? The very moment that this, it would go to commercial break and come back with a new title and a new panel that quickly, right? But if you say, hey, a lot of women nowadays have bad behaviors and they're, this, this, and this, and these are things that men don't like. Don't even say, we hate these bitches. They're used. You can say, well, men don't like this. You become all kind of slanders. You become all kind of negatives. You become all this. She made an excuse. She made an exception to single out gay men. Right? Made an exception to single out gay men. Straight men are useless. Right? Till your fucking car catches flat. You gotta pump some fucking gas. Oh. Ooh. Show that to y'all later. I'm gonna show that to you later because there's a video going viral about gas pumping. Remind me about that later. We're not gonna watch it now. I'm gonna stick to the script, but we'll do that in the den later this evening if we double down. We'll probably double down today. Let me show you the other things. Right. So this is the 4B movement. This is kind of an explanation of it, and then I'm going to give you some more opinionated, more commentary on
it. The 4B movement. A smaller but growing movement among Korean women. 4B is shorthand for 4 Korean words that all start with B, or no. The first no, bihan, is...
And Heidi, you're incorrect. Red Pill content doesn't say that women are useless. It says that women have gotten away from their purpose. It talks more about women who would rather be for the streets than be wives. So they're saying all men, period, are useless unless they're gay. Women make these extremely broad general statements. What if we said all women are shit except those dykes? Those dykes are pretty cool. Women would be very, very offended. When you're talking about a woman who does nothing but sell her body and thinks that she's a boss or a mogul or something like, bitch, you got titties and you bought your titty, you bought a business and you sold it, sold pictures of it. Cool. Doesn't make you that special. That's all. No one has ever said all women are useless. No one ever said all women are this. They just said the qualities that make a good woman good and the qualities that make a woman a wife versus the qualities that make a woman a jump off. That's all.
The refusal of heterosexual marriage. Bichulsan is the refusal of childbirth. Biyonye is saying no to dating. And bisexu is the rejection of heterosexual sexual relationships. They said no to heterosexual marriage, no to childbirth, no to dating, and no to hooking up with dudes. They're done. Finished.
So Koreans are just discovering how to be lesbian. Is this what? Oh shit! Well, I wouldn't. That's why I have my mother. See, that's the. So very, very fragrant. Ah, that smells wonderful. Yeah, they're just discovering. Just discovering. Yeah, so you notice how all these agendas all these quote unquote feminists, it really is this. It's really this, right? Because women don't want to compete with other women for men, right? If you listen to women talk, they say they don't want men that are too attractive because then other women are going to want them and they don't want to deal with that. They want a somewhat ugly man, so they ain't got to deal with all that. You hear women say, but they want men to compete over them. But what you get with these movements, this MGTOW, a lot of these feminist movements, it was another one that these women had too very recently. And the whole purpose is basically to make it easier for the lesbians. All right, the lesbians don't want to, they're like, hey, this this strap ain't working. I got the haircut, I bought the polo shirt, got the 2X polo shirt. It's not working. I'm being a real gentleman to these ladies, right? But for some reason, for the lesbians, they work. So now they're trying to implement these movements that automatically opt all the guys out. See, they're shit, but I'll be a good man. I'll do all the things they're supposed to do. But all this is trying to make it easier for the bulldaggers, right? To make it easier for them to just diagonal them. Because it's okay to be in lesbian relationships. It's okay to be in a relationship with a woman who acts like a man. Oh, the confusion. Anywho, let me know if I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm trying to understand it. So blickety blickety blackety. Let's listen to some more of this crackety.
So the misogyny and patriarchy has gotten so bad in South Korea that the young women are participating in this movement that they're calling the 4B movement.
I wonder why she's looking around like it's this super hidden thing. Good afternoon, Ruby 12. Anybody else that I may have missed and dissed or not dissed and all that other stuff. So carry on.
Women in South Korea are so tired of fighting against this bullshit that they're just opting out. So the 4 things they're avoiding is heterosexual marriage, childbirth, dating, and heterosexual sex of any kind. But yeah, ultimately this thing is about the fact that South Korean women got so tired of fighting against the system that was keeping everything in place. They just like, we're just gonna check out. We're just not gonna participate anymore.
The system that was keeping everything in place, structure, order, growth, the economy. I don't know.
As you can see, it's absolutely having an effect. Their birth rate is going way down. Though a lot of the media blames it on the high cost of housing and competitive education for kids. But as it notes here, increasing gender tensions are another reason regularly cited.
There's no such thing as increasing gender tension for men. It only comes from the women's side. Men just kind of respond and say, look at you, you're being all this. Keeping it real time, Riley. Always good to see you. Right? Let's see. I'm going to pull something up. And this is why when women say these things, it sounds good, but ultimately it does not matter. And I hate to say it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's true. Right? Because the same way that we women love to focus on the outliers, the less likely outcome. Well, so and so was 57 and she had 13 kids and she got married to a celebrity. So and so was probably already a celebrity, things like that. Those oddball things. But the likelihood, I couldn't leave the sisters out on this one. The likelihood is that, let's see, I have no idea. I haven't looked this up yet. Check it out. Let's see. Oh, that sucks for them. So there's 1.01 males per female, right? So it's almost even. So as they get older, so there's a male surplus up until about 60. And then at the 60 plus age, after 60, then there is let's say about 64. there's a female surplus. So, well, such for the men of Korea. I'm going to be honest.
Well, what happens when you keep rewarding bad behavior? You get more bad behavior. So if someone is mistreating you, if somebody is not respecting your body or your rights, if somebody is treating you like property and abusing you, and you keep giving them access to your body, to your home, to your physical and emotional labor, what do you think they do? They'll keep treating you badly, right? Well, the women of South Korea said we had enough of this shit. No more heterosexual sex, no more heterosexual marriage, and no more child rearing. And guess what else they said? These beauty standards. Women are also shaving the hair off their head and rejecting society's beauty standards.
That's where the black women jump off the train. There's like 4B. It sounds great, shaver. Oh no, we're not gonna do that. let me tell you something. I can tell you already that the women who are doing this are not attractive women, right? Because regardless of what you say, you can sit here and say you're opting out, you can say you're doing all that. Women want to be desired. If they're not going to be getting their desires from men, they're going to get their little desires from women who look like men or other women that they may find attractive. Once a woman starts doing outrageous stuff and she's opted out, it's gone to the point of mental illness, right? Because I don't care what you say. You can hate men all you want to. We got men haters in the den, right? But I guarantee, and I've seen some haven't been as frequent as lately, but we've had a few verified men haters in the den. I've seen their profile. They don't go out looking crazy. They don't go out doing this, that, and other. They still go out in, what do y'all like to, what's the heteronormative clothing? Clothes like normal fucking people. And they do it, right? I wish this, I don't be trying to do it, bro. I be seeing this looks a little padded down here, right? I'm just telling y'all. See, what'll happen? I'm gonna say something. I would say something, right? And then y'all get really mad. I got a question. I have a question. Women, all the women here, Quell man, what's the motherfucking deal? uh, would y'all women? I want to know the women who are in the chat. What would y'all rate this woman? What would y'all? What would y'all rate this woman? Right, scale of 1 to 10. Honest ratings from the ladies, fellas. Y'all ain't got to say nothing. See. Because see, this is the thing that women do, right? And I'm actually surprised by some of the responses. A 6.5. Okay. I see a 1 max, a 0, a 6.5. Who knows what does she look like right here in the actual thing? This is what I'm asking you. See? Shame on some of you. No, Miss Bell, we're not gonna do that. You had I was bragging on Miss Bell's call the other day because it was such a great call. And it might have been the best Bell call of all time. Right? Right. Well, I'm giving you guys the male perspective, right? Because I tell y'all all the time, men and women have different interests. They have different things. If a man was going to come up and holler at this woman, he's going to have a idea of where I won't say the caliber, but on a visual note, You know, you can apply a number. Now, if I was to say the majority of black women look like this, would I be right or wrong? All right, about five, six. Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. No, I definitely agree. Like, you should be able to, you should want to desire the person that you're intimate with. Something about them, at least, right? Right. I want to know because I want to understand the women better. I'm trying to be a better honcho host, right? I'm trying to get away from the bashing. I'm just trying to get some understanding. Um, yeah. So that's my thing. Um, I particularly don't think I would say she's average. I would 4 or 5, a lot of makeup, big jacket. And again, I'm not giving attributes for your ability to disguise your face. You know what I mean? So when I see makeup, I automatically start deducting points because it's not who you really are. Like, what do you look like? Me? I posted that picture for y'all in the den. The chick, she was dark skinned, it had some skin issues, but once the makeup was done, she was looking like this. You don't see any woman whose face is just this smooth, right? And believe not with the diets that they have, right? You're not on the worst end of the eating spectrum, and your skin is just flawless. It don't work like that, right? It doesn't work like that. You're a little drunk. All right. Uh, let's see. So anyway, I say all this to say that if I, as a black man, was to say something about this, I get vilified for having an opinion. You're wrong for that. You should be ashamed. No, I think everybody should be allowed to have their own thoughts, right? And it should be okay. I'm not everybody's taste. Don't intend to be. Everybody shouldn't think they're everybody else's taste. But let's finish the 4B movement before I get off on a real wild tangent.
And here's why. The 4B movement is meant to serve as a direct opposition to South Korea's patriarchal state and combat its pro-nationalist policies, which view women's bodies and reproductive abilities as tools for the state's future. Feminists who engage in 4B movement are known to actively resist the various ways in which gendered expectations are enforced in a conservative society, specifically relating to child rearing, relationships, and employment. This resistance involves not only withdrawing from dating, but also rejecting prevalent gender beauty standards and their associated consumerist practices in South Korea. So basically, they said, get somebody else to do it. Until you treat me like a human being and respect my rights and stop treating me like property, you will no longer have access to me or my body. I will not participate in your beauty standards and keep making you rich by spending money on your products to make me pretty.
So the person with all the makeup on, not showing their real face on camera, goes and gets their eyebrows and shit waxed, got a wig that she probably got from Korea on, or whatever, probably glue from Korea too. Um, is sitting here looking like Mr. Potato Head, talking about, yeah, I'm tired, you can't have. I'm gonna be honest. Those women are doing men a favor by saying, hey, we're unfuckable. Especially in America. You don't want to have kids? Cool. Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal, though, right? All you bitches got to return all the phallus shaped objects, all the dildos, anything that represents manhood, anything that look like a dick, the fucking octopus tentacle things. I got a, well, I got a picture I meant to share, which I might have deleted the shit. I had to screenshot the shit because the shit was crazy. This bitch had a bookshelf full of various dicks and dildos, right? Like when I say books, like on the very top of it, each row had at least 7 or 8 various. Like that was just from the quick shot. They're like, "What do you spend all your money?" Like, bitch, women today have a sexual problem, right? They're over sexualized themselves, and they don't realize how they fuck themselves over by wanting to catch a bunch of bodies, right? Because the more bodies you catch, the more out of shape shit's gonna be. Say what you want to say, it always snap. No, the fuck it doesn't. But it doesn't fucking snap back. You're not stuffing yourself with fucking foot long schlongs and saying, oh, you know, whatever. What's the average? Like 5 or 6. That's not enough for me. Well, because you've worn your shit out. Because when you are a normal person and you're not sticking fucking bottles up your shit and fucking all this other crazy shit, guess what? If you don't gravitate and hop from pole to pole, you can adjust. You can work with that whatever because that's what you're used to. You don't desensitize your stuff. Motherfuckers out here fucking robots and shit, right? Basically, like there's 1,002 times more toys for women than there are for men, right? Y'all complain about the sex robots. Women been fucking robots before sex robots were a thing. See, men got to be more visual. That's why they be needing shit shaped like shit. Women just want to find a fucking hairbrush and go to town. Like that's the type of shit. That's the type of shit they be on, and it'll tell you that that it ain't enough. Well, bitch, you fucking did the demo job, not me. Anyway, let me finish this before I go into another tangent.
And guess what? The population is going to decline because I'm not bringing no more of your babies into this world. Good work to the women of South Korea. But I think American women need to pay.
This goofy bitch. I'm not bringing no more. Bitch, you done already failed the fucking mission. Like you're not accepted into the mission. You don't fit the criteria. It's always some motherfucker who don't fit the fucking criteria want to be a part of. Good job. Shut up, bitch. Like, god damn. Like, I'm trying not to. I want to be better. I promise I want to be better. Good job for what? All they did, like I said, was let them niggas know they're not worth the fucking. All you did was make it easier. That bitch is gonna be a problem. If I fuck with that bitch, she's gonna be a fucking hassle. So guess what? The shaved head and no bra lets me know I don't want to fuck her in the first place. Let me go find a woman who's into. It's a very small, useless movement. You bring it to America, it's the same shit these weirdos are already doing. But again, take away the strap-ons, take away the dildos, because y'all want the male parts but don't want them. Nah, take away all the madness. Get out there and get the scissor and them old crusty coochies. Burn that carpet up. You know what I'm saying? Rub it together. Do whatever y'all fucking doing. Have your little buffets. But leave the phalluses out of it. And then see how much. And here's the thing. Every fucking lesbian, they all sneak dick. Okay? I can sit here and tell you whatever you want to. I don't care about the hardest fucking bull dagger you fucking. That bitch be sneak dicking, right? They all do. So there's no such thing as a fucking lesbian, right? You can show me a lesbian that's getting off with no type of phallic involvement, whether it be the fake, the rubber one, the real one, whatever. They all use them. Lesbians are not real things, right? They're just emotionally disconnected women who are connected to other psycho women again. So this person who sat here, who's already had kids, guarantee father's not in the house, guarantee not from marriage, just said, because she just said, I don't want to contribute any more kids to the movement. Well, you've already done that, so you're out. Don't listen to we're not going to opt into the beauty center. You, as a black woman, have taken the fucking European beauty standard. You fucking burnt your shit up under that. I got a protective style under it. You wearing this red fucking and blue and this clown makeup, look like you about to roll out the clown car by 15 other sisters. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, get the fuck out of here. Just to be saying some shit. 4B stands for 4 bitches, right? The criteria is no heterosexual relationships. And again, the things are all basically the fucking same. I got the article here, right? Who did the lady said it first? It's basically, like I said, it's like no heterosexual relationships, no babies. Yeah, shorthand for BHOM, the refusal of heterosexual marriage, Michael sign, something like that, refusal of childbirth, be something something, saying no to dating, and something else is the rejection of heterosexual sexual relationship. So heterosexual marriage and heterosexual sexual relationships is two of the same things. So one now it's a 3B now. It's not even 4B, which is fucking stupid. And if you're not getting married, you probably shouldn't be having kids like that. So you're doing the favor. I'm pretty sure it's looked down upon in fucking Korea like that. Anyway, so really it's like 1B is just we're lesbians. That's basically all it is. The fucking criteria is to be a lesbian. That's all the fuck it is. It's not even a real thing. Like the more that you look into it, it's not a real thing. But anyway, let me show you this. Let me show you this last thing, and then let's take some calls and get into it. Because what do we need men for anyway? What is the purpose of having men around? Because, yeah, that's what I say. Most of these bitches look like trannies. And they don't get it. You say that you good, you must like, no, bitch, I don't want you to look like the fucking, like, I don't understand. And this is not a bash against trans people. It's not a bash against gays or nothing like it. Everybody do what the fuck you do. But why do all the black bitches especially? It's a lot of these white girls are following suit in the worst way. I'm seeing the white girls with the box braids. Now stop doing that shit. That's the fucking ghetto with shit. But anyway, like, why do you get your makeup advice from a gay man? And you look like a gay man. Then when somebody tells you look like the gay man or the transgender that you're getting your fucking makeup advice from, you get mad about it. But that's who you knew and went. That's who you went and got it from, or the fucking person you got it from. That's who they got it from, and you know this, right? Because you're not really that good looking. Because you gotta put a fucking layer of shit on your fucking face to make yourself feel good about. So you know you ain't no bad bitch. If you can wipe off the bad bitch, you not a bad bitch. Like if you can put a rag on it and go from bad bitch to sad bitch, you not a fucking bad bitch. Like I don't understand that. Like, and I be seeing this shit, bro. I be want to take me a little napkin, a little wet nap, and just want to just a line on the shit, just to fuck it up a little bit. Now y'all got this super glue makeup, shit don't want to come off. Like it's all bad. Anyway, what do we need men for?
What have men ever done for us that has been worth keeping them around? Seriously, you want to ask that question? I am so tired of our society pretending like men don't matter, like masculinity doesn't matter. They do. You do.
So, with that being said, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Right. They should have. They should have an all-female mechanic shop. So like where women can go and know that they're getting the best price and nobody's trying to fucking finesse them. And nobody's trying to fuck them just to get the, well, those type of women probably would. Like that's what another thing women don't realize. Like them lesbians be trying to fuck y'all way more than dudes do. And they have an unfair advantage because they be going to the restroom with y'all trying to play. Like that's when they turn the woman on. They try to use that private space, like, baby. Yeah. They be trying to fuck y'all more than niggas do. Women are more sexual harassers than men are. Think about it. Like you ever see like when they be in a club and then a woman will just they'll randomly just grab another woman's breast, oh, your titty, and they'll just do it. And women laugh and get, is that not harassment? Is that not like illegal? Is that not the same thing? Well, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. I'm not grabbing nobody's random fucking titties out of nowhere. No. Ain't no lesbians in the men's bathroom. They won't be lesbians anymore. All right. Let me open up the line. Oh, I meant to talk about that Caitlin Clark thing, but a little more. I did talk about it a little bit. The people getting upset about it. Let me open up the line, the call-in line. I ain't got the fucking shit set up. What is this? What is this? Yeah. All right. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we have calling in to the den this afternoon? Mr. Shannon. How have you been, Mr. Shannon? Yeah, it's been a while. Been a while. So it's good to know that things are going good. So what's on your mind? You said you had something you would like to get off your chest today. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Miss. I said I got the wrong audio on the thing. I don't want to roam you. I see it's on the wrong. That's why we having too many things up. All right. Okay. Now we're good. We're good. My apologies, Mr. Shannon. Okay. You said as a man. Go ahead.
I just wish the government would get more honest about the whole situation. That's really about it. Because I think what men get really frustrated at is that there's this illusion of equality. Everyone's talking about, the only reason why these situations are happening is because of toxic masculinity and all this other stuff like that. But the reality is that when feminism became a big thing, society made a decision, and we said we are going to make women happier at the detriment of men's happiness. And that's all that really happened. And if people just said that out loud and just move forward with it, I think a lot more men could bite that bullet. Versus this whole thing of like, we want things to be equal, we're the same thing, men and women, all that kind of stuff. I think at the end of the day, that's all gobbledygook. It's just nonsense. And I think that's the reason why people don't say that is because remember those videos back in the day, like the 1960s, about during the Cold War, you had those videos about the atomic bombs. And if you heard an alarm, you're supposed to hide under your desk. Remember those old videos, the black and white ones? Same thing. Those videos, the people who made those videos know hiding under their desk and do shit, right? But it made people feel like they have some control over their lives. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing that's going on right now. They're blaming toxic masculinity, men's emotions, men not being providers. All this stuff is just, hiding under the desk. The reality is that society has changed, and no one wants to say the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
And for the 4Bs, these are just women who wish they were prettier. They don't get pretty girl privilege. No one's trying to pick them up, and so they just get mad at men because they can't get the man they want. And that's really all it is. I mean, you're not going to see city girls or Meg Thee Stallion talking about 4Bs and how men don't treat them well. They're getting flown out. They're getting Gucci bags and BMs. So, I mean, this whole thing about women not being treated well, that's all cap. But that's what I think.
I could definitely see that. I could definitely agree with that. I mean, that's ultimately all it is. I don't think, again, I believe that most women, I won't say are very vain, but they all have a level of vanity to them. And cutting off the hair, going bald, and some of these other little things, I think, like I said, that's actually doing it in spite of themselves and not necessarily for the benefit of progress. But I can see that. Like I say, if they were attractive and they knew that these were things that people complimented them on or appreciated them for, they would definitely not remove that type of stuff. They wouldn't alter it, I don't think. But so I
mean, like if you go on like Deep and like the whole LGBT movement, there's a group of people who their sexual preference is considered asexual. That means they're not attracted to men nor women. If you look at the people who are asexual, you know something really quickly. Most people who are asexual are grossly unattractive. You know what I mean? They're asexual because they're not arousing anybody. You know what I mean? So a lot of these women on the 4Ds, I mean, there are horrible men out there who do women bad. I have 3 sisters. They tell me what some men do to them or put them in situations. Those guys are awful. They should be dealt accordingly. I'm not also at that point. Like, I'm not saying I'm making up stories. But when it gets online and talks about, men are dogs and all this other stuff and do we need men, the conversation just goes so far out of like what's actually reasonable. You know what I mean? Men are just kind of like, okay, at this point, what's the point? Like, there's no point in having the conversation. And like I said, I am a millennial. I see it on my age. I think most people they're just too far gone. They don't think about it. They don't challenge already preconceived notions. And I mean, long term, I think it's just a new reality. And I think people should just come to grips. Women are not going to have kids. They're going to be single. They have their price set high, and men have to move accordingly.
I definitely agree. Yeah, and I don't really see a real reason to get mad about it, because I think that just makes it easier for those who are, with the traditional thing to kind of be identified, and those who are going to go off and do whatever they want to. I mean, they'll just have to, deal with the decisions that they made. But I definitely agree. Men have to start moving differently. It's really up to us, more so than it is to kind of care about what the women are doing or what decisions they're making, because there's always plenty more of them.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the last thing I would say is that I think there was this funny conversation about BBLs, right? And I think it was like, women are doing BBLs for men. But, like, women don't give a shit about what men want. Men want women who cooks, who provides, who's submissive, who pays attention. Women ain't doing that. They refuse to. You know what I mean? So this whole notion that men have told women what they want. Period. Like, at this point, and as a man, I know what a woman wants. There's no way I don't. They want me to provide for them. They want me to be supportive of them. Support their emotions. I think every man knows what a woman wants, right? And so I give the same, credence or assumptions for women. They know what men want. They just refuse to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, it's like talking to a child at some point. You used to stop repeating yourself. Just keep it pushing. And unfortunately, like I said, for most women who are out here, and they made the decision. They said, "Hey, I'd rather be in the streets. I'm gonna get my needs met, and until then, I'm gonna be hanging out with my friends and live my best life." And that's what just right. And they found comfort in that. And as a man, you recognize that. You say you can't get mad at their life decision because that's your life. You can't, there's nothing wrong with that. They're not hurting anybody. You move accordingly. It is what it is.
Do you think it's, in your view, do you think it's worse with Black professional women than maybe, say, Black women who aren't so career oriented?
Okay, I might have a bias. So I'm in Houston. I've been dating in Houston. So I can tell you my anecdotal experience, right? Because there's no deep statistic on any of this shit. Harvard's not doing some deep surveys on Black women professionals in Houston. You know what I mean? Like, so this is all anecdotal. My experience when it comes to women, Black professional women, is that I went to HBCU. Let me just start there. And there's this stigma that Black women are a better version of Black men. It starts in college. So when you look at the university, I went to Prairie for undergrad. It's like 70% girls, 30% men. And the notion is that the reason why there's not men here is because women are superior. They don't say that outright, but it's kind of like built into this, how the school pushes for admission, mentoring, scholarships. It's kind of all built in there, right? And so when you get there, and you get in the professional workforce, a lot of women get, at least now, they're a double minority. Man, I've seen people get jobs that they really don't deserve all the fucking time, and Black women. I say this as someone who has 3 master's degrees, working on a PhD. I see women get jobs, I'm just like, whoa, how'd that happen? Like, person, I know they're technical sales because the boss thought, the woman thought she looked cute, and she worked in, I think, mortgage loan applications. Other friend of mine, she was a teacher at an elementary school, and now she's a private manager at Facebook. No credentials, no PMP, just they're really looking for that, right?
Yeah.
And so you get in the real world, and then you say, okay, the whole world told me my whole life that being a Black woman is hard and double minority. I'm saying it's not. There's different challenges. I'm not denouncing that. But their view of themselves is so high, and then they naturally think Black men are beneath them, just inherently, they don't really want to follow a man's lead, most of them, unless they're traditional, something like Haitian, Caribbean, African women, you see a little bit more of that. And so I'm going to land the plane. I'm just trying to go all the way around. Because of that, there's this thing of if you're not doing substantially better than me, because I think there's below me, I can't listen to you. So, Concho, let me give you a question. Would you listen to someone who you believe is not as intelligent as you, who's not as knowledgeable as you, who's not as emotionally stable as you? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of African American women come from that They come from that perspective. And the only way to prove that you're all these great things that they can actually look up to is you to be substantially more professional than them, you know, to accomplish all this kind of ridiculous bullshit. And they kind of shoot for that. And so, from my perspective, and all this sort of land, a lot of women are just kind of like, they're overly career driven. And I say that to someone who, like I said, all these degrees, but like for them, the career is their god. You know, that's they treat it like it's the biggest thing. They, for most women, and this is where things get really weird for me. Women still value men. As much as women say they don't need men, if you watch The View, every woman knows in their heart of hearts they want to be married. They want that fat ass ring on their finger. They want that wedding dress. You know what I'm saying? Women validate other women by who they marry. If you don't believe that, all the women on The View, I bet you every time a woman comes on that show, they're looking at whose ring that is, what man you have. So that's all cap. This is all cap, right? But at the same time, women don't want to be wives. And they really don't want to be subservient to a man. They don't want to listen to who they believe is below them. And so they say, fuck it. I'll make my money, and I'm going to buy this Gucci purse or this Chanel bag and, flex on my friends. And that's their life. And outside of that, they don't have anything else to live for. And I sympathize with them because the same way feminism did men dirty, it also did women dirty. And that's kind of how I feel about Black professional women. They're a lot of times they're very smart. A lot of times they're naive because most women are not thinking that hard about most things. A lot of time it comes up to them. But in general, it's hard for them to find someone who's compatible with them because realistically, they think most men are by default bad. They think most men are by default ugly. And then we have this whole thing in our culture about like the whole Riz and Thug Max and all the other nonsense. It can get a little muddy. And but like in the day, like you can't get mad at it. This is what it is. But I mean, that's my experience with professional Black women. But yeah, I mean, I hope I answered your question.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad because it definitely gave me some maybe some different inside perspective, kind of on how that culture is and what's going on with that. So definitely did answer the question. I appreciate that.
It's really just more about, if I think you are below me academically, professionally, emotionally, how can I be beneath you and my quote unquote feminine and all the other stuff? When we're talking about that stuff or that what's called like femininity, masculinity, that's what I'm really talking about. Trying to put me in my place. It's about classism and all that kind of shit.
It definitely gave me a few additional thoughts on some things. These definitely one or two statements you made are probably gonna turn into some future topics because they something you said I found very interesting. All right. But any other thoughts on where feminism is taking women or even Black women specifically, or do you think that this is something that's going to catch hold, or do you think it's any different than just modern American lesbianism with this whole 4B mentality?
I mean, is it going to catch on? I mean, it will cut on. I mean, it is what it is. The laws have changed. Society has changed. But you have to remember, like, this took decades to get to this point. Universities had to teach a different way. Parents had to raise their kids a certain way. Social media had to push it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this was a monumental effort. It took years in the making. So, it's very too late. It's too far gone. Every country's having problems. South Korea, Japan, Switzerland, even China, Mexico. I mean, at this point, it's a global thing. You know what I mean? And there's no way going back. And I think at this point, to change it, like I said, they should be a little more just honest about it. Hey, we made this decision. We're not going back. And either, some of the guys can figure it out, or, good luck. You're going to be told that you're broke, dusty, and ugly. And it is what it is. And, all this content about women's standards being too high and they're going to die alone, all that kind of stuff. It's just stuff. I don't think, there's a lot of guys coping online, unfortunately.
What do you think it's a situation?
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, no, all of that, go on.
Oh, no. So I say, you feel like a lot of this is just kind of, so the reason why a lot of this red pill content, a lot of this stuff is getting supported because there's a lot of guys out there who just don't want to make that adjustment.
Yeah. That's all it is. A lot of men can't make that adjustment. I mean, don't forget, it's a zero-sum game. A lot of corporations only hiring so much. We were kind of like a low-key recession, and, as much as we want to support women get jobs and first and self-professionally, which we do for, women in general, it makes it hard when we say, hey, we want to go get a high-paying job, and now the girl needs to meet someone else who has a high-paying job, and she doesn't want to do 50-50. I mean, the thing is, like, the whole thesis behind, or the whole idea behind feminism is that if we give women the same opportunities as men, they want to contribute as much. The problem is that women don't. So how does that make sense? Even the whole discussion for 50-50 doesn't make sense when women are saying, hey, we're the most educated, we have the most degrees. I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, you pay more for the family. Oh, we don't want to do that. Like, it's really silly. So I mean, that's where that's at. I mean, the notion is that, like I said, the assumption was that women wanted to contribute and they wanted to work hard, and they don't. I'll tell you what, the funniest thing I remember, I was in college. This is real short. And, they could sell those things, tell you, like, hey, women make $75 and $30 in mix. And I was a young, impressionable kid. I was like, oh, it's sexism, and women don't get opportunity at the workforce. Shit, now as an adult, women don't want to work. Every girl I meet now says she wants to retire by 45, travel the world. You know what I mean? Women don't want to be CEO of an organization. So why do we even have these silly discussions in the 90s and 2000s that we need more women CEOs when women don't want those professions? They don't want those. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, everyone was sold these lies and these fake bag of goods. And as an adult, we're just like, okay, we know everything that we were told, or the stuff we pushed was a lie. Are we going to go backwards? Are we going to go back to some balance? And the society of the world say, nah, women enjoy the freedom, eat it. And they just, like I said, they just say that outright. And I think most men will just bite their tongue. There wouldn't be so much red pill content. Because a lot of, like I said, the red pill content, just a lot of men who are horny, lonely, and depressed. Not all of them. But there's some guys there's some really good stuff on red pill when it comes to like black people stuff and, child, what's it called, parental law and all that kind of stuff. And that stuff is good. But I'm just saying, like, the fresh and fit, all that, it's just a lot of men, young kids who are just depressed. And, the cute girl says they're ugly, even though they went to the same college. That kind of stuff. But let me hop out. I want someone else to hop in because I feel like I've been talking long enough.
Yeah, good. Well, first and foremost, Mr. Shannon, I definitely want to say it's good to speak to you again because every time you call, you always have very good, very valid points, and it's good to know that you're doing okay. And I appreciate you, getting the deadline jumped off this afternoon.
Definitely. And let's go Astros. Baseball season just started, so hopefully we get a ring this year.
Yeah, because yesterday was not ideal. I was not happy with Fromber, but that's a whole nother conversation. Talk about that in the sauce today. All right. But all right, shout out to Shannon. Appreciate you coming.
All right, bye.
I didn't want to. Let me Astro, but they're gonna be all right. But it's just that was not the start. It was the start you wanted, but it wasn't the ending you wanted. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we have calling in to the den this evening or this afternoon? I'm so used to it.
It's Belle. How are you?
I'm doing well, Miss Belle. How are you doing this afternoon, Miss Belle?
I'm doing a lot better. I felt like you last night. Just didn't have the energy for shit. I'm doing a whole lot better today. Getting ready for the holiday weekend with the grands.
What do you got planned for the holiday weekend?
Going to my auntie's and doing an Easter egg hunt with kids and the whole, sit down and have dinner and that kind of stuff. So, I'm one of the few females who's had all the different labels that you can have as a heterosexual. I was single, I was engaged, I was married, and now I'm a widow, which still makes me single again. And so, they're all different statuses for different reasons. And I find that the women are valid in their emotional points, but I find that it's rather stupid to put it out there like that for the fact that you're giving somebody else all the red flags and you're laying your hand out for somebody else rather than giving them the chance to prove who they are.
So you're saying that maybe they should take a different approach to how they're speaking on these things, or what would you suggest to a woman who's trying to
To me,
convey
as
this
as a
message?
female, it comes out more like they're lashing out with anger rather than turning it in and saying, what do I need in order to satisfy my life? And I don't have to justify it with anybody else. I don't have to defend it. It's just who I am. I mean, I've been a widow almost 5 years. And being in a long-term relationship, you go through points of celibacy. Whether, it just happens. And so my point with that is that I didn't turn gay because my partner wasn't there. I didn't turn gay because I was single. I didn't turn gay because I was a widow. I mean, I've chosen not to go that way. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with who I am. Do I have a problem with gay females? Absolutely not. You do you, that's fine. But what I have a problem with is women feeling as though they need to lash that anger out of what they're not getting.
Hold on 1 second, Miss Bell. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I believe someone's loud.
Sure.
Hold on 1 moment.
You there? He's got to be getting pizza. Michelle, it's his go-to delivery. Are you getting your pizza?
I actually wish I was. It's actually not a bad idea. I thought they're still doing a bunch of work around here, so I thought somebody was knocking. All right. So
Where were we? Basically, what I'm feeling as a woman is they're letting society know what they don't want, and it can be offensive to the men that may want to pursue these women, saying, well, they're telling me all the don'ts, but they're not telling me any do's. And so it sets more of a cock block up, in a sense, rather than keeping what your red flags or your flags to yourself and letting a relationship play out. There is a definite reason for having men do certain jobs and women doing certain jobs. I'm not saying they can't cross over. And I see the percentages of why they are what they are. I mean, hell, I hate taking the trash out. If I had a significant other, that would be their job. But I don't mind doing the dishes.
are we assigning
anyway,
gender roles, Miss Bell?
No, just specifically I hate doing that. It was something I had to do as a teenager and just don't like it. But I mean, I don't mind going out and washing the car and detailing the car with them. I've changed flat tires. Do I like doing that? No, that's why I have AAA. So, but what I am saying is that the more no's and negative traits we as females put out there, the less we look like a prospective partner to begin with. We're kind of sort of cutting our own ties with any potential.
So,
good.
So is it that these women expect men to be psychic? I mean, because what you see a lot is, and I mean, you may not be on the same side of the internet that I am, and I could show videos. Maybe I'll post them in the Discord. But every day, all you see is women complaining about men. You very rarely see women who say they appreciate men for whatever. Only thing I did see was in the Black History Month when the white women were trying to say that they appreciated men. A bunch of black women interrupted their videos and told them that they would get it from here. They didn't show any appreciation until the white women did it. But that's not necessarily the point. But why is it easier for them to say, hey, I would like this, 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 and this? Because that's what men are saying. Men are putting out, we want a woman who is, feminine, fit is up to whoever, whatever, or they want these qualities. I would like for her to, have a home cooked meal. I would like, this, 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 and this. And then women complain about that, but women don't put out what they really want, or the things that they do put out tend to be maybe a slightly irrational.
Let me answer that question as best as I can. In my point of view, I see it as women have, for as long as we can remember, are just trying to find their voice. And our voice sometimes comes across as angry because we're ticked off at the behavior men have, because we see it sometimes as, what's the word I want? Come hither, stop, come hither, stop. It's like this back and forth game. They tell you what they want, but it's not really what they mean. And then idealistically, they want something completely else, but they still, want to have you on whatever level. It's like it's the game plan that women get sick of. And yet, because women have finally kind of said, we're tired of it and we're being straightforward, a lot of men don't get it. But what I also see is it's coming across as rather being angry instead of saying, hey, this is what I will support and this is what I will agree to. They're given all the no's and all the why I'm not going to do that and all the stop signs. And so it doesn't allow for there to be really any communication because everybody's given demands and nobody's really listening.
So why is it in this day and age that other women, you have women who are in the 4B type mindset, hey, I'm just going to deviate, I'm leaving men alone, I don't want to do that. But there are some women who say, hey, I want to be a wife, I want to do this, this, this. Why do other women attack those women? They have names for them like pick-me's and things like that. So why would another woman, especially believe all women, support all women, why would women attack another woman wanting to be a wife? And I've never seen a man attack another man for wanting to be a husband.
Honestly, I think just an estimate guess is it's insecurity and jealousy that somebody's achieved a status that the other woman couldn't achieve. And it basically comes from like crabs in a bucket, as they say. There was a comment not long ago, and I think it was on Shin and Shay, and he was talking to, what is the guy's name? Godfrey?
Yeah.
And he was saying that the black community tends to knock each other down rather than build each other up. And I see that with women, that a lot of times we tend to knock each other down rather than really, support each other. And, think about it. If a guy's got a man at home and a piece on the side, those women are competing with each other even though they're not. And the man's allowing that to happen because the fact that he's got one on each side, one in the home and one in the streets. And he's putting women at odds by allowing that choice. Because I'm sure when that woman entered marriage, she wanted to be monogamous. And I'm not saying all do, but 90% of the reason marriage is like that is that's the terms that it's set up in.
Do women go into marriage expecting men not to be monogamous? Should men be allowed a hall pass, given that that's in their nature?
Again, under context, I think that's a very individual relationship. And I would not give a hall pass, and I know my husband wouldn't give a hall pass. But that's something that we stayed on very early in the relationship as well. And that's part of the communication. Everybody, that's a very general statement. People getting into relationships, you putting up what you're not willing to do is the easiest way to push somebody away rather than saying, hey, this is what I'm willing to tolerate, and this is where the bottom line is. Because you're making it very clear to say, this is when you stepped over the line, but I understand things happen. You know? There's certain things that I won't tolerate going into a new relationship. You know? I don't have a problem if somebody's got medical issues, but I'm not dealing with the death and dying again. And how I've stated is, hey, somebody might have high blood pressure, they may have had a heart issue. I mean, but if they're still healthy, hey, that's, you know, all good. Because at my age now, I'm looking at a different parameter of gene pool, you know? And I agree with you about having hobbies and having activities and, you know, keeping yourself busy, because the fact is I might be alone, but I'm generally not lonely. Yeah, once in a while I'll rear its ugly head, but I'm also not at a point that I want to be in a relationship. And a lot of the ones who are screaming out have either been broken or hurt, and they're not looking inward to fix that before stepping into a new one, because they're wanting something else. They're wanting the new relationship to fix it, and it doesn't.
So I have a question, and shout out to Dan for the super chat. Love
Yep,
the
thanks,
Dan
Dan.
donation. Should lesbians be allowed to use phallus-shaped objects?
Don't have an opinion on it, because that's just not my sexuality.
But I'm just saying.
Straight
But
women,
I'm saying, if they don't like men,
so
why do they like penis so much?
it's something to fill them up inside.
So you're saying lesbians are pretty much empty inside?
No, I'm saying that in straight heterosexual relationships, they're using the same thing, they're just not getting pregnant.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between hot meat and dishwasher dick, but you know, I mean, to each their own.
Well, yes, I agree with you on that. I'm not disregarding it, because I prefer the real thing or nothing. But it's just everybody has their own choice of things. You know, this is why we're allowed those choices. I never chose to be a lesbian because I don't get it. I'm respectful of it. You know, I don't have any problem with it. It's just not my thing. You know? So I don't really have an opinion on it, because I don't really get it, and that's okay.
Okay, but I'm just, because the thing to me
But I
is
think
just,
with these,
it's like,
I'm
if
sorry, go ahead.
they want the straight features, but then not what it really comes attached to. So you don't find that odd that they still like the phallus. If you still like the phallus feeling, why wouldn't you go after the thing that it's attached to? Is it really that big of it? Is it more mental, or is it really an attraction thing, in your opinion?
If I had to guess, or if I had to take an educated guess, I would say it would be more about the woman being emotionally or psychologically broken from dealing with heterosexual men.
Interesting.
Because a relationship isn't just physical, it's emotional and psychological. Like I said, I can see why women, after abusive relationships or you know, men have really broken a woman, why they would turn to another woman, because we're of the same sort of mindset on some levels. You know, we don't have the same equipment, obviously, but emotionally and psychologically, I could see why there would be a bond there.
So here's my thing, though, right? Because you said that maybe after being broken by a man, that they turn to the comfort of a woman. But then we see the statistics on lesbian
But it
relationships.
also works the other way with men, too. Yeah. If men have been broken by either a female role model and she's been an overbearing person and just broken the man's spirit, it could definitely send him into a feminine mode. I'm talking about abuse. I'm not talking about a strong parent. I'm talking about psychological abuse. And what's the word that you used to use all the time with me? When a woman would put a man down, she was, dang, I can't think of the word.
You're not talking about misandrist?
But, huh?
Are you talking about a misandrist?
No. Basically what they're doing is they're, desensitizing there's a damn word.
Emasculating?
Thank you, that's the word I wanted. When a woman emasculates a man enough and, a man doesn't feel good enough about being with a woman, again, they would turn to their own gender in order to feel camaraderie and to feel a connection, because nobody ever really wants to be alone. I mean, the reality of it is we are, and the reality of it is it happens. But in reality, we all want to be partnered up. Nobody wants to do it alone. Do we need to sometimes? Absolutely. And is there a reason for people to have a timeout so that they mentally get shit on track before getting into another relationship? Absolutely. But how many actually do? There's this old saying I heard, and I never ever got it, because I heard it a lot after my husband died. It was like, well, to get over one man, you need to, get under another. And I'm like, are you an idiot?
That's a lot of women's logic these days. But would you
Right,
say
but
that
you're not
adds
processing
benefit or burden to do that?
burden, because you're not processing the last relationship before jumping into the new one. And if you haven't processed that shit out, there's an easy way to punish the person that you're with about the things that the person from the past did when they're two different people.
So only thing
I could be wrong on that, but
only thing I'm gonna slightly disagree with you on is the statement made about a man going through certain things, and maybe having an overly strong mother figure could do something
there's
to
more
it.
that goes into it. If they've been sexually violated by either another man, or if they've been, there's a whole lot that goes into that.
Yeah, but I think,
and that's not
there are
all.
women who encourage. There are mothers who encourage this behavior in their children. That's the sad part about it. Like, kids don't even end up seeing something.
I agree with you.
And so, yeah, I think that's a questionable thing. But I mean, everybody has their reason or their season. So
Absolutely. I mean, I knew a guy from high school that he was so in the closet that you knew he was out of the closet, but it was because of the family, it was because of the family status that he never came out until he was in college.
Yeah, it's always one of those that you already. They might fucking motherfucker come, hey, I'm gay. Well, no surprise there. What's the news?
Yeah, we knew.
Yeah.
I'm glad you finally, came to agreement with what we've known for years. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that trauma related is a big reason that men and women seek comfort out from the same sex, because they've had a traumatic result from the opposite sex. Not all, but some. And again, this is just a theory, in my opinion. Don't have a problem being challenged or being wrong about it.
I feel like I would just find it intriguing, just to get your thoughts, or maybe
I do too.
From an outsider looking in, because again, unfortunately I'm not allowed to be in the lesbian club. I got the authentic gear.
You'd enjoy that too much, right?
No, I mean, I don't think so at all. I think it'd probably be a terrible thing, honestly. But I definitely think it would be a bad. Like, again, that's a whole other conversation. We'll save that for a future Friday. But yeah. So
here's another one that I want to throw out there that somebody had said in the Discord earlier. In the den earlier, is that how come we as heterosexuals, we never have to fight for what our sexuality is. In fact, most of us keep it, we are what we are. But it seems as though anybody who's other than straight feels like they have to make everybody know it and flag everybody down and, loud and proud, which is fine. But it's really nobody else's business what your sexuality is.
It's the white man's problem. You know, so when you are in the what is considered, I guess, to be the majority group or whatever, the what they call the dominant society or the whatever the fuck that these people, excuse me, that these people on the fringes make up to feel, you know, justified as not being a part of it, like it's necessarily a bad thing. But you know, and you have to defend yourself. So like same thing when people say, well, white men or this, and it's like I feel bad for white men, honestly. You know, because you could be just a regular old white guy and lived your life and just you've done nothing. You've done nothing but grow up how you've known to grow up, work, and you know, take care of whatever. And all of a sudden, you're a bad guy just for existing, right? I can't control the things that happened prior to me. You know, we always love to blame the sins of the father, right, on a lot of shit, and we never talk about the sins of the mother.
Well, riddle me this. I need to stop you right there. Riddle me this. Aren't white guys getting the message that it has been put on black men for years?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that because I think it's different because people are looking at white men as responsible for each and every problem that has ever occurred. Black men have been looked at maybe as the violent crime problem or encouraging or being able to encourage others to, you know, venture down a more negative path because, you know, we have this contagious culture. Some may call it contagious, some may just say easy to apply. So I wouldn't say it's in the same thing because what'll happen is you have black people who've never lived amongst white people ever in their life, probably don't see white people on a day-to-day basis, who will have an issue and blame it on the white man's system, right? Well, I can't put the system in an interrogation chair. I can't put the system, you know, on trial, right? So, but it's a convenient excuse as opposed to when you say, oh well, you know, the black folks are doing this, and this. Now, in some cases, unjustified. In many cases, it is justified, right? And when you live amongst these type of people and you don't want to acknowledge the fact that these are the people that are causing the problem in my neighborhood, you know, but I'm only getting mad when a white cop responds to the problem and then, you know, it escalates or whatever else it may be. So what we do is we push our problems on the other, a lot of us in the black community, instead of taking responsibility. And that's the kind of the same thing I say with when we talk about black problems or quote unquote minority problems. It's the same thing with women, just in a different skew. So that's why I say like I understand people get frustrated about it, but it's just a different angle, but it's the same situation. You take responsibility for your own issues. So with black folks, we cry about each and every other fucking problem under the sun, but it's the shit that we do that keeps us perpetuating these fucking problems. The culture we embrace and the livelihood we want to have, and we want to be flashy and all this stuff with no foundation. Same thing with women. Women cry a lot about, oh, men ain't this, men ain't that. Well, if you vetted the men more properly, if you didn't put yourself out in a certain way, then you wouldn't attract certain kinds of men. But then it's not my fault. I want to wear this type of stuff. It's the men. Well, if you're wearing a certain thing, you're going to attract a certain kind of man. You're not going to attract the kind of man who wants to look at you long term. You're going to attract a man who wants to fuck you for the night. Yeah, what's happening?
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that social media has attributed to the lack of atonement for one's own, for each person's behavior?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you'll find somebody somewhere
lack of good behavior.
Yeah, you'll find someone somewhere who will absolve you of the responsibility, who will tell you it's not your fault, it's somebody else's fault, to make you feel good. And again, like I say, alleviate all of that burden that really is your burden, but we'll blame on everybody else. As opposed to the people who will sit here and say, hey, this is your fault, take control of your life, and you can have the life you want to if you're willing to grab it by the reins. But people would rather not grab by the reins, let the fucking wagon run off a cliff and then blame the horse or whatever, when you could have took control of it and righted the situation. So yeah, accountability.
So my other question is, have we allowed the reality of shame to be blameless and shameless and not taken on the responsibility of the atonement of, yeah, that was bad behavior or that was a bad choice or I need to own that?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what Shannon mentioned earlier when he called in. It was just that what has happened is the world is telling women that nothing you do is wrong. Like you said, to the detriment of men, we're elevating women. So instead of saying, hey, let's let's take what women are saying more serious about these situations that occur. It's believe all women. Yet you see more women lie about shit than men do. You know what I mean? On a day-to-day basis, where they're talking about shows that
Women are just getting caught more.
Well,
I don't think that it's more or less. I think we're just openly getting caught more because of the anger, and we're just throwing it out there. And I do think Shannon was right about that too.
but why? But the thing is though, is if you can't get caught if you're not engaging in the actions. And so what I'm saying, women are doing much more deceptive things, right? I found that video. I showed y'all a video the other day. I don't know if y'all recall it, where the lady was sitting in the car and she was talking about it. What I said was that apparently she had got HIV. I was wrong about that. I found the entire video, and I believe that there was more to it. So it turns out the dude that she was fucking with apparently turns out to be her husband's brother from his dad's side. So
shit. So it's a relative on top of it.
Yeah, and she's pregnant with his child. Now, the brother didn't know of her because apparently he believes that the husband apparently has a wife and some kids in Germany, where he's stationed overseas, which is the right decision. Anyway, so it's a crazy deal. But what I'm saying is that now women are there. It's not they're getting caught more, because I believe women do more, but men generally don't care because we've been lied, we've been trapped, we've been deceived into believing women are good people. They don't do these kind of things, and so that's why women get this kind of cover of protection, because dudes will believe, oh, not my gal, not my chick, not my mom, not my this, not my that, because I've been told that they're angels and they love flowers, and I see bitches getting mad about motherfuckers giving them flowers these days. This is where we're at. So like, we can't help the fact that we've been lied to by y'all, and then we act on what y'all told us, which is our mothers, our grandmothers. Well, women like this and do that, and when you do that, you end up getting played, betrayed, misled, or even end up dead. And so what's happening now is men are able to share the information, say, hey, well, this is what's going on. Women have been able to share this information for years. We've always put men in the bad light. But now, like I said, we're saying, okay, well, believe all women, don't believe nothing men say. They're all dog. They're guilty until assumption. We've made women like they're basically half retarded children living amongst us in society. Well, they can't be responsible for any of their actions. We gotta, well, like I was talking about the other day, the people who go to these late night rooms for these late night readings, you knew exactly what you were going there for. You knew exactly what you were going to do and what you were willing to do to get there. But when everything got lined up, because we have this high level of integrity that we must maintain for women, even though they're not that great of people. And I'm not saying men are better, but most people are shitty people, and we should be treated shitty equally. We're all automatically absolving them of their responsibility, and they know this. And women know that I don't have to be responsible for anything that I do. I can initiate a problem, I can start a problem, I can cause and I'm not going to get in any trouble for it. I'm not going to have to suffer any consequences for my action. We'll just blame a man, and everybody will believe me. That's where.
Well, let me ask you. Hold on a second. Let me ask you a question then. Do you think that most men want to put women on pedestals because that's how? I can't say this generation, but even my generation before, women were held to a higher standard when it came to integrity and when it came to honor and their vows. But men only get caught when a child out of wedlock comes through, and yet it seems as though a woman doesn't have anywhere to go with being angry and upset that the man who made the same vows as she did stepped out.
But here's the thing, though.
Even in World War II, Vietnam War, you get all these soldiers coming back and finding out, 20, 30 years later, they had families over there while they were stationed over there.
Can you fault them? I mean, can you fault them? You're talking about a situation where a man may have done something, he's on the brink of losing his life. And I get it. You've made a commitment, right? And I'm not justifying, I'm not validating. You made a commitment to somebody. But can you fault somebody who is under the duress of dying every fucking day, right? Might not make it home, just craving some affection, versus a person who's just sitting here waiting, right? And again, I'm not saying either one is right or either one is wrong, but I could see why more so. Because here's the thing, we can talk about making families over there, but what happens more often? especially in the modern day and age? Are men making families in Iraq and Afghanistan, or are they coming home finding that their bank accounts are wiped out? Your wife just left the house and ran off with Jody and took your kids.
Yeah, that's
And they're black.
definitely more the standard op
Right.
these days.
And again, and they're not in any duress. They're taken care of. They're getting what they want. I just want a man who's going to be a protector. He's in the army, so he's learning how to be a protector. See, protecting the whole goddamn country. He's sending you money home. You're doing. I just got bored and I got lonely, and that's all a woman has to say. And women will value. Well, he should have knew what she was before what she was. She should have never committed, knowing that she is who she is. That she could not have handled that, right? And then, like I said, they do. It's always way worse with women. And then a lot of times, what was it? I was showing the thing the other day about how there's been many men who've quit these DNA testing centers because they started to see the reality of women. A lot of men are coming in at 40% of the child's not being theirs. And a lot of times these people only find it out when it's on a deathbed or when they need some type of organ replacement. And then you find out that you're not a match. Well, how are you not a match? You're my child. Turns out, oh, you're not my kid. And it's women who've kept these secrets for forever because they want to make sure they still got taken care of. They didn't want to own up to the mistake that they made by having a child out of wedlock. He looks close enough to be, and then men have enough pride and they don't want to embarrass. They want to believe that their woman is a good one. They want to be able to say, I got me a good one, in this land of the lost. I got one that's decent, not knowing that she's probably worse off than all the rest of them. And then two, because women aren't better at hiding it, men just don't care as much. Men aren't going to go through your phone each and every day, because anytime you go find something, you go looking for something, you'll find it. But and two, like I said, it's just women can do way more damage than a man ever can. And even when they do that level of damage, they're still not held absolve for their actions because other women will absolve them of their actions. Again, hey, well, if he wasn't treating you like this, he should have been treating you like a prince. He's off to war the majority of the year, serving 4 years in another country somewhere. He should have been treating you better because you're more special than everybody.
Honestly, I can't. I got to stop you there. I can't condone a man's bad behavior overseas or a woman's behavior if they're in the service. However, it does not make it. It makes it understandable, but it doesn't make it negatable. Does that? And I truly understand what you're talking about. Like you said, day in and day out, you need to find something that's going to give you life in order to get you through. However, I mean, we go back to watching some of the Army shows like MASH and China Beach and some of the other ones that they've done. And, there's guys that are perfectly, good at having that girl at home. And you're right. Today's day and age, some of the girls at home aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Oh.
But part of that comes from the fact that they've had decades and generations of military men, not being faithful. And I'm not saying it's right either. I can understand it. I can't, condone it or even,
But if that's the case, why get into a military relationship? If you know that the likelihood is that the military man's not going to be faithful, he's not going to own up, or he's going to be over there for a certain amount of time, you either have to accept the fact that he's going to do what he's going to do, or he should be allowed to do what he's going to do. Because again, under the guise,
well, you made a statement. Women become financially tagging on a partner, or men do a lot less, but men have done it too. But it's part of emotional. You're getting life insurance, you're getting health insurance, you're knowing that you've got somebody in your life.
And you're using them. And again, with all those privileges and bonuses that you're receiving for it, why are you not...
Well, it steps it back even more. When you made that contract and stood before either the justice of the peace, the priest, the pastor, the minister, or whatever, you made a contract. Both sides of you made a contract. When my husband got sick and he went into long-term care, I thought for a nanosecond about divorce because it was a lot. But, I sat there and actually thought about it and said, you know what? Sickness and health. This is part of what my contract is. And as being a wife, I wouldn't be being fair to him. Now, I may be an exception to the rule. I may be a few of the rule. But that's the respect and the honor that the generation I was brought up with in my family traits. You don't walk away because somebody gets sick.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And again, most of these women don't want to deal with that. I mean, like I say, what we gonna do one day in here? I'm gonna just bring up some clips of them little stupid balloon popping shows and just let y'all see the justification a lot of these women have for why they don't like the men. And then shout out to Shannon because it was one I saw a guy, he came on there, he talked a little bit hood, but he said, he had his bachelor's. He was talking about he was carrying a suitcase or something. They was talking down, oh, well, you like my little brother because you talk like him. And he's telling her, he's like, man, he's being very respectful. She's continuing to, I just can't date my little brother. And again, she looked like bald head baby hairs over there. She pulled halfway back behind the scope looking like Alien versus Predator, but have the nerve to talk down on men because they feel like they're better. They don't even have to be accomplished. They just feel like they're so arrogant. But all I'm saying is this, and shout out to Trill because it's after the bullets fly. I don't know how many of y'all in here work out on a regular basis or have ever exercised or gone to a gym, right? But it is a known fact, especially when you're in a fight or flight situation, if you're in a situation where you've exercised and you've used up a lot of energy, those pheromones, those things, people are more attracted to people at the gym, especially after a workout, than in other normal situations. So when you come from a high intensity, high pressure situation, the likelihood to want to get it on increases. So I can't fault somebody who was over in a bunker in a sand dune and a something. Again, it's one thing if you out there doing it, and fellas, if your gal in the army, from what I've heard too, look, she for the streets, the Afghani streets. But yeah, you know what I mean. Like I get it, I get it. And again, this is not a dismissal. And again, I think this is a special circumstance. Imagine you over there, you just possibly could have lost your life. Like you're talking about bullets whizzing by your head, and you survived, right? What could have been your fucking last day. You might have seen a couple of bodies drop nearby. We only have so many ways of alleviating stress and pressure. And there's a lot of men who go through this, do all that, and still don't violate. While a wife is at home getting her back broken by Jody because ain't no more new episodes of Abbott Elementary on TV or whatever the fuck she may watch, right? Like, because I'm bored. Because women, like I say, women don't have hobbies. They don't know what to do other than take dick. Like, that's what the modern woman, that's all she, like, you ask a modern woman, and that's why I've been trying so hard to get, I promise, I've been trying to find a woman to come on here and constantly debate me about these topics, but they don't. But you find a modern woman, then ask her, what does she bring? All she's going to talk about is fucking. All she's gonna talk about is some shit that you could buy and put on a average ass bitch. You can put a boob job on an average ass. If you want a bad bitches aren't real things. Like you can make the bitches want to be bad in appearance in public and be, like I said, pathetic, useless, worthless at home. Well, I could order DoorDash. I don't want you to order. I want you to cook. Like why can't you cook something from the heart? I feel those meals are better. Little things like that. And the standards aren't ridiculous. These are things that, our mothers, grandmothers did and still were able to, have like that. But we don't get the bare basics. Like I said, it was a dude came out and said basically.
Can I say something as a traditional woman?
All right, go ahead.
I find that the modern woman is very shallow.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've had their resumes with education. They've had their resumes with thinking they're coming to the table, but they're not. They're bringing it basically an empty resume. Which means, yeah, you can cook. Yes, you don't mind doing a picnic rather than having to go to a 5-star restaurant. Doesn't mean you don't want either one. It just means that you're adaptable. And I think a lot of people confuse, what's the word I want? It's not assumption, entitlement with false bravado.
Okay, yeah.
And, sometimes I see women who kind of put their, chin out there because, they are scared and say, all right, this is what I can give you, but they're not presenting it in a way that is complimentary to either them or the other person because it's all defensive.
So here's that. Here's the thing with that. And like you said, and I kind of, because I read too many different comments and it kind of slipped my train of thought. So
Sorry.
In this day and age, right? What is what is even the value of that? Because I know I said, cook and clean and do all that. Do you think because men want minor attributes, right? Men are not asking for a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Women are presenting things that
It
men
shows
are not interested in.
diversity.
Yeah. Women are presenting men things they don't, because even with the cooking and cleaning, right? Because these days you can go get a fucking meal prep service, pay a couple $100 a week, and have you 3 meals made a day. You know what I'm saying? Healthy meals that'll help you. You can go take your clothes to a cleaner. You know what I'm saying, and get them cleaned. Or you can have a maid come to your house and pay a couple $100 and they'll clean it up every week. As opposed to having to get a wife these days and then spend money on all these wants, or these women say, you got to have 6 figures, you got to do this, you need to do all this other stuff, you need to be in this. And then they don't bring any of these same things to the table. Shout out to Manny. I appreciate the Den Folk donation. That's funny.
And I'm agreeing with you on that. I also think that it brings down their 5-star, 6-star, 7-star rating when basically they're padding their resume with just intellect and what financial they can bring to the table, and not, like you said, when we go to college, we have humanities, we have like other interests that bring it into our degree. It's the same thing in a relationship. You've got to have more than just intellect and a face. After a while, looks go. There's got to be something more of substance there than just finances and looks.
All I care about.
And I think that's the difference with the modern women. They're banking on their looks, which ends up being short term. And if you've got a job, and men like to be the caretaker or the caregiver, and it doesn't always have to be financial, but they like being able to take care of women. That's part of being a straight man, if I'm not mistaken. I think that you could agree with that.
I would like
So if a woman comes to the table and says she's equal to you in value financially, it was like, what the hell am I doing here? She can do it all by herself.
But that's the thing, though. And like the last couple said, women really don't want to take on these responsibilities. Women say these things because it sounds good to other women. Again, the things that women do, modern women do, are not to attract men, and then they get mad because men don't acquiesce to what they want. So spending a ridiculous amount on purses that, whatever, what nigga cares about what kind of purse you got that isn't, probably wanting to wear the purse. If you're hollering to them, I'm independent, all this, well, the man doesn't want. If you, like you said, if you can do it by yourself, cool. Then what do I need you for? And then it's the little things. Well, I don't want to follow your lead. I don't want to do this, and this. We need to be partners equal. But when it comes to matters of life and death, I'm to volunteer my life, for yours. So if that's the case, then we're not equal. You know what I mean? But to accept these kind of things is so hard pressed in their mind that they cannot do it because they don't want to look negatively to some other chick who don't give a fuck about you. The motherfucker probably fucking on your boyfriend or your husband when you ain't home, because you're trying to impress some other broad. Because again, society has pushed this narrative that, women are this, and this now. And all the women who are trying to fit in that mold are miserable. They are miserable. On the internet, they're one thing. You talk to them behind the scenes, they are miserable. They want something else. But at the same time, they can't put 2 and 2 together. Because I have plenty of friends that I talk to about different things. And it's not always that I'm trying to engage with. I'm giving them advice on their situation. You should probably do this. Oh, no, I can't do that shit. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, cool. That's I would never fucking with you in the first place. But, this is what I'm trying to tell you. You want to improve this relationship, you need to do this, and this. Well, I don't see him like that. Or he ain't doing this, or he ain't doing that, or he ain't slanging enough to do this, or he ain't doing. And I'm like, wow, the things that are said that if a dude was saying this shit, especially in the public, he'd be all the misogynistic, so he probably got that's little dick energy, or this, and this. Like, it just crazy things that are allowed to be spoken. But this is what the modern woman views, and then she wonders why men are disgusted. So you're getting a woman who's not even a real person, whose values are skewed and materialistic, and they're not decent enough to build a solid foundation. And it's just, you wonder why men say what they say, and then they get mad because, again, like I said, men aren't agreeing with their lifestyle. Men have kind of remained in that traditional sense. Not saying all of us are. Some men kind of, give a little leeway, but like women want men now. The modern woman wants man to be a slave to her because somehow she's been told all her life that women were slaves in the kitchen and this. Women used to be proud of their families. Women used to be happy that, knowing the impact and the benefit that they did for their family. That was the job they did. And they knew they did a damn good job.
Well, we had our moments.
Are you proud of your children?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And am I proud of my husband? Yeah, I mean, he had his days, but I mean, there were certain things. My husband was a great cook, but as soon as he knew that I knew how to cook something, I was the one that did it in the kitchen, and I was like, damn, I hate when that happens. And he screwed the laundry up enough knowing he knew how to do laundry so that I ended up doing the laundry. But hey, that happens in all relationships, and it was like that's why he was dedicated to taking the trash out, because that was just something I didn't want to do when I was picking up the other, to balance it. But okay, to back this up and to get it out of me, what's the percentage of modern women who are toxic even before they get into the relationships?
72%.
And how much?
72%.
Holy shit, that's a lot. And how many men today are toxic because of women's behavior or because of the relationships they've had?
Because of women's behavior, I would say 56%.
Okay, and on those notes, how many of those are stepping back from any relationship in order to detox and get it straight before going into the next one? And this is where I find it's a nanosecond and not enough time. People don't court anymore. Sex is it's always on the table, at least in my observation. It may not be, but I see it with a lot of the modern women that it's on the table as being sport rather than it being I don't want to say goal line, but to the point that you've gotten to know each other enough that there's something there and it's not just a hit it and quit it.
So I think
that's not 90 days, that's not 3 months, that's just, it is when it is.
I think especially when it comes to relationships and jumping into a new relationship, women put more pressure on men to begin a new relationship than men do. Men are more, I think, with the feeling out, but the women start, with what are we, what is this, and start adding on to a lot of that. And so some men cave, some men don't. When it comes to trying to get it figured out, I think you got two things. One, a lot of women I don't think want to deal with their emotions on their own, and so they kind of go with that principle of what you mentioned earlier: get over one by getting under another. Now realizing that it's temporary, but now you've added another notch in your belt, and then you're upset because that didn't really help, and that motherfucker only fuck with you when they want to.
It didn't lessen the toxicity.
And so then you're angry. Now you're not angry at one, but two, because that didn't do a thing. And so then you either add on because that's your friends, you get your whole phase, you justify it, and now all men ain't shit because you decided to open your legs up to all of them, and you gave them what you didn't present any kind of obstacle. They thought that's what you was on.
And if you don't fix it, you're attracting the same toxic that you had in the last one until you figure it out.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, like I said. So, and with men, I think what happens with a lot of men is certain men don't have the same level of options as men do. So, some men will like, fuck it, they got over something, and the next thing that shows up in their life, because it could be similar to, you don't want to deal with old things, so you get you some new hype. You may not necessarily be taking it serious, but men can get comfortable more easy than women can. So it could be a situation where, a chick, you might just be fucking, you know what I'm saying? And it's just to get your rocks off, and you need to, you're not thinking of it like that, but because you've got company, hey, she ain't too bad, she's cool, she's whatever. But you haven't really dealt with your issues, you know what I mean? You still have things that you have to fix yourself, but then you've kind of gotten into another thing because, you thought with your dickhead. I think both people can do it, but I think that the reason why I say it's worse for women, because women always have the option to have way more partners. Women can go outside and motherfuckers will be throwing dick at her from a car, drive by, dick throwers. Dudes have to be the ones to go out and pursue. They have to go out and put forth that effort. So one, the fact that he put forth an effort is already taking a risk. And so if he has success from it, then maybe he may run with that. If not, then he may shelter off. But a lot of dudes get out of a bad relationship and they cut it off. A lot of dudes don't go looking for the next thing. A lot of dudes, depending on what type of man you are, that shouldn't go well. More dudes, I think, reflect on what they did wrong and what they can improve to either attract a better woman or to have better options. Or they just say, fuck it, I am who I am, and I'm just gonna live my life the way I am, and I'm cool with that. Again, with men, the majority of men get a bad rep, but it's only a small number of dudes doing all the fucking. Like it's only a small number of dudes because all the women want the same type of dudes. So
I've noticed that y'all have talked about that on a huge over the last couple of years we've talked about that, and I can understand that. I mean, look at Nick Cannon. I mean, he's got what? How many kids and how many baby mamas? You know, and that's no different than basically all being sister wives because the kids are all connected. You know, they may not be married, but there's going to be a lifetime commitment between the kids and the mamas and Nick. So yeah, no, I hear you. I completely hear you. And women tend to want to blame rather than own too.
Oh, absolutely.
When they're hurt. But the thing is taking that time in order to own that hurt and say, all right, what was theirs, what was mine, is preventative for the next thing. And do we even think that there's any like real dating or courting today?
No. Why? I mean, because the thing is,
because everybody's jumping into bed too quick. You know.
But that's the thing, though. And once you've done it, what's the point? Like, so if I'm talking to somebody else, right, and let's just say, oh, well, I'm just kind of, weighing my options. All right, well, cool. That's awesome. So if I know that so and so, and I'm not gonna say, well, you let it fucking in 2 days or whatever. I'm not gonna, but at the same time, I'm not gonna dedicate myself to this long term. I'm gonna just wait until she's ready. If you got kids, you're already fucking. So it's not. What am I courting for? The pussy's already been used. If you let so and so, you had your hot girl summer and did all that. What am I courting you for? Like, why? The last dude didn't have to court. Like, why do I have to pay more for a product than the last man? I know people say it's not a product and it sounds like ownership, but it's just logical thinking, right?
Well, okay. Whoa. Hold on. Riddle me this. Because her status has always been single and she wasn't married, it sounds like you're letting it downplay because she's allowed herself to not get into a commitment, and so you don't feel like you have to try as hard?
Why would I? Why would I try harder for something than the next man? Like, so why? Again, it's paying a price because we talk about trying, but when it comes to courting and dating, it's a price. It's paying with your time or your attention, or it could be your finances. But if you're trying to quote unquote impress somebody, you're paying in some way or some fashion. So if I know and I'm aware that you let Billy Blanks bust it up after chopping it up with him an hour at the bar, why am I going to put forth this ultimate level of effort? Because what I'm going to know is, all right, well, you decided in an hour that you like somebody enough to give your body up to them, right? Obviously, you don't like me the same way because this is what women will do. Women will go through a phase of, getting busted up by Buster Brown, and then they'll say something like, well, I really like you, so I want to take my time. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard, right? I just wanted to fuck that guy, so I just let him have me easy. But I really like you, so I want to make you work for something that somebody else got at a discount rate.
Well, right? I think that's a modern woman taking a man's behavior into consideration because I've seen a lot of men do that. They'd have a piece on the side, but they'd hold back for the one that they really wanted. At least my generation, that happened a lot.
I don't know.
They take the piece that would give it to them, and then the one that they really like that they could take home to mama, they would present that.
Yeah, I mean that's cool, right? And I
get but doing it in the reverse way, it's like, and you guys are like, oh well,
because the one you're taking home to mama ain't gonna be the same one that let Buster Brown dick her down after a night on the town. So that's why you're gonna know that she's gonna be the piece on the side. So yeah, so again, that's what's gonna happen. The Buster Brown babe is gonna be the one that you keep on the side, and the chick that didn't execute any of these behaviors because she's already put that value on herself is the one you're gonna take more serious. Okay, well if so and so had to wait, or this is just a thing, and everybody got their little skeletons in their closet, but you can generally tell by somebody's behavior the type of person they are, right? And in this day and age, this ain't making you wait. There's no waiting because the women are over sexualized. They want to fuck just as much as the men do, if not more. They really want more. And I told you about the broad that's got fucking.
Actually, to tell you the truth, I think they are over sexualized, but I think it's more that there's emotional emptiness and there's a lack of emotional satisfaction.
So whose fault is that?
Society. I mean, I think that it's definitely very much a media thing. I mean, back in my day, it was primarily geared towards men of watching porn and all this stuff. And it's not to say that women didn't. It just wasn't ever brought up in public circles about women choosing to do it. So now that it's an open thing and women can choose to do it if they don't, or do it or don't do it, it's brought a different ramification in. And honestly, sex without a relationship is just like getting drunk without having any real reason to. You know what I mean? Not for not having a purpose. It's sport.
And I mean, and it's
And you're right. It does. You're right, Manny. It does leave. It leaves people emotionally empty and emotional hangovers.
But here's my
You
thing,
get up
though.
the next morning, you go, well, what did I choose to do? I mean, I've seen some of my girlfriends talk about it. It's like, I can't believe I showed up at, the walk of shame and all that shit. Like we were talking about with the chick that came out of the Jewish community.
Yeah, but what did she do? She blamed the man. She didn't take responsibility for it. And that's what most women do.
Yeah.
He tricked me. If he'd have paid me $2,500, this would have been okay. But he tricked me and did all this. Like, you were an equal participant. And that's what happens. A lot of these women say these things.
She was stupid enough not to get it first. Money before,
But
anyway.
But here's my thing. You're talking
not
about
even the point.
with the women being not emotionally invested or emotionally empty. Well, what can you expect when women crave only the shallowest, most materialistic stuff? Because women, when you talk about now, it's 6 figures, 6-pack. I would say 6 inches, but they want foot long, so you got to double up on the 6 on that. And then they want 6 inches, 6-pack, 6 figures, 6 feet, right? All superficial, shallow shit. Oh, he 5'9", I can't talk to him. This man could be the greatest motherfucking provider, could be the most loving. This motherfucker might get down on and wash your feet every goddamn night, but because of this, you don't see men. Men may say, she a little bigger than I like. And respectfully, so that's something you can control. But also, if you're a man, you may like certain things. You may be out of your weight class. You can't fault a man for not wanting a woman. He wants to maybe feel like, man, I want to be able to pick my broad up or do this, do that. If she on the 300 end, well, and say he weigh a $180 and she 3-something, I ain't gonna throw it back out. You can't fault a man for having preferences of that because you chose to make other health decisions. You can't fault somebody for that.
People like who they like.
Yeah. So what I mean is that it's these women, and again, they gravitate towards superficial shit. That's what impresses them. That's what turns a lot of them. Again, we don't have to say all, but we know what's getting promoted in society. Because it's not just black women. It's not just Mexican. You see, it's not just ghetto motherfuckers. You seeing what should be classy, but we don't have a lot of class anymore in today's society. They're all saying the same thing. You got to be able to do this, and this. Then I might submit. I might do this, and I might do it. Okay, well, that's cool. If you're not showing any emotional investment, if you're not looking for something that requires an emotional investment, you're going to get what you get. Okay, if I have all these things before you ever arrive, you didn't commit anything to me, you just want the resources I have or to be a part of something I've already built, well, don't be surprised when you get cut easily, when you don't make the roster, when because you think just your looks are good enough. Well, shit, if these looks are good enough to get you with this set standard, then it's good enough to get the next bitch who might actually have some commendable features, you know what I mean? So
I do, but the other thing too is it's like everybody wants what's above their standard or their station, and I don't mean it financially. I just mean it in what we're looking for. I mean, the reality of it is that there's a certain sort of kind of box that we all fit into, and would I like to say that I've picked out of my station? Yeah, there's been a time or two, and did I achieve it? Yeah, I did.
Bougie bill.
But it wasn't something that lasted. What lasted was what was in my lane. And by not, it sounds like a very negative thing by staying in your lane. But the thing is that brings security. That brings what you know, because that's what you're all about in that area. When you start reaching out above and beyond, that's when things can go haywire. Going 90 in the third lane and expecting somebody to keep up or staying up with that when you're really meant for 65 in the middle lane, you can burn yourself out. So, and that applies on multiple levels. So, that was pretty cool.
I concur. All right.
Got anything else for me? Have you figured out are you going to families for the holiday weekend?
Absolutely not. I don't participate in that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, I figured Easter is like kind of a different of those holidays, so because you got Passover and stuff. But anyway, all good. I'm just excited to get to see the Grands on Sunday. So, but yeah, they're getting big, and I love them. And thank you for having me today. It's been a good day.
Well, good deal. Well, I'm glad that you called, and I'm glad that you were able to share your thoughts with me this afternoon in the den, Miss Bell.
Yeah, and Shannon did a good job on the first call too.
Absolutely great call. Well,
Yeah.
I hope that you do have a good weekend. I hope that you do enjoy the grandkids, and I hope to talk to you soon, Miss Bell.
All right, you too. See you later, Honcho.
What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this afternoon?
God damn. Hard getting on this motherfucker.
Yeah, yes, the den is popular. How are you doing this evening, sir? Or this afternoon?
I'm doing all right.
So we've talked about this 4B movement. We've talked about feminism. We've crossed over into the lane of relationships between various groups, why men and women are doing what they're doing. What are your thoughts on today's conversation, Mr. True?
First of all, I want to set one of the record straight.
Okay.
People act like they don't have no goddamn sense, and I know a lot of you really don't. But let's get a couple of things in perspective. The whole thing about dying alone, people seem to misinterpret what that actually means. We all know factually that everybody is birthed by themselves and you're going to die by yourself. It's not an exact technical phrase, you dumbass. What it means is that throughout your lifetime or through the span of your life, you want someone to be there to experience this life with you. That's what it means, that somebody, even in your last moment, would want nothing more than to be there for you and share that last moment with you. That's what dying alone means. Whether it's somebody you kin to or somebody you fell in love with. It's not a technical fucking term, people. Stop acting like you stupid. That shit annoys the hell out of me. Thing number 2. I understand the pushback against the red pill shit. I get it. But at the same time, the same motherfuckers who always talking shit about it is the same people who don't watch it in its entirety. Because Kevin Samuels was one and Fresh and Fit is another. I understand people's gripe with them. They may not like the shit that they put out. But do you actually know what the real intention is? It's to make men better. So y'all sitting up here criticizing the motherfuckers that's trying to make the men come up on the level that you want them to aspire to be on. Because every week, and I ain't never watched it, just to be completely straight up and honest about it, they do a thing on how men to better themselves, working out, making more money, maybe even, getting their mental together. Hey, you do this shit to get this out. Don't be mad at these women. They are what they are. This is the truth of them. But you have to deal with them and treat them accordingly. Okay, well, but I understand that, but this is what the women tell me. Yeah, but you can't listen to what the woman says. You have to pay attention to what she do. And women have a problem with that. But guess what, ladies? It goes the same on the inverse. Don't listen to what a nigga say. Pay attention to what the fuck he does. That's the only thing that's going to get it respect. A man's respected on what he does, like what he said. Not how that works. Kevin Samuels was the same way. When he talked about men for years, he was on men ass. There was not one man that made any kind of post or anything saying, hey, this brother shouldn't be talking to other brothers like that. He shouldn't be disrespecting these other brothers like that. No, it wasn't until he started talking to women and started telling them the truth. And he wouldn't disrespect until he was disrespected. Everybody got a problem with it. Nobody said shit when he was talking about the men. Nothing. Because, and men wasn't complaining about it. They wasn't calling up to other shows talking about, yeah, I was on his show, and he told me this and told me that, and it traumatized me and all that. Why? Because men be like, you know what? You're probably right, because what I'm doing ain't working. I might as well try something different. Men don't complain about the shit, but the women do. That's the difference. So let's get that straight. Men is trying to set men straight, and y'all get mad at them when they get on the straight end of the women. Like, hey, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Can't have one without the other. No. And it ain't about how I feel. I know it's been skewed. But the only reason it's been skewed is because what gets more clicks? The shit that people find controversial. A man telling another man to get his shit together is not controversial. A man telling a woman that she gonna die alone is controversial. But everybody knows, even if we went with our definition, where you're gonna die by yourself, even though we know it's the truth. So why is it a problem? Even if we do take y'all definition or the exact definition of it, why is that a problem to tell somebody that? Oh, because he hurt her feelings. Fuck her feelings. When reality hits her, it's gonna hit her a lot harder than what he said will. Point blank, period. And reality is coming for each and every single one of us. And it don't give a shit about how you feel or if you survive. It doesn't care. That's the reality. And everybody needs a dose of it. Everybody. Because if you don't get that dose of reality, you're more apt to succumb to it. Period. It's a survival thing. Now, let's get on the 4B shit. I don't have no problem with these women doing it. I have zero problem with it. Ladies, if y'all don't want to have kids, don't have kids. It's your world, squirrel. Do what you want to do. But, and there's always a but, you can have that. But don't wait until you pass your prime. Well, men would have wanted you to get to the point where now you want them, but they no longer want you, and then you want to sit around and cry and complain about it. No, ma'am. You made your bed. You need to lie in it. We don't want to hear that shit. And you don't see no man coming up here complaining about the 4B shit. That's not one man made one post talking about, oh, this is, no. Hey, if y'all don't want to have kids, we're not going to force you. Do your thing. All you're going to do is just cycle your way out of the human population. That's all you're doing. Cycling your thoughts and your feelings out of the human population. That's all you're doing. So you ain't hurting nobody but yourself. If you want to have a legacy or you want somebody to continue on either your way of thinking or maybe even your purpose, maybe somebody to take that mantle along and push it further, then that's what you do. You have a family, you have kids, you influence people. Somebody who knows you more intimately than others. But if that's not what you want, nobody's forcing you to do so. And then if you take sex away, that's fine too. Motherfuckers just gonna keep jacking off. And if they start to like jacking off more than having sex with you, how you think they're gonna treat you then? They're gonna really treat you like they don't need you. You're really gonna be underappreciated. And you're really gonna see what that feels and looks like. You're gonna try to get out on your best, try to look good, and then motherfuckers gonna completely ignore you. There's nothing that irritates a woman more than being ignored.
Right.
She absolutely hates it.
Especially when she fixed up. Especially when she thought she didn't get loud. You've seen many videos of women complaining about nobody didn't pay attention. That's what I say. They say one thing and they respond in another way. But yeah, you definitely see a lot of women who talk about the niggas must be gay because they ain't looking at me, or they, this, that, or the third, or whatever else.
Yeah. He just might not be attracted to you. You might not be his cup of tea. See, the difference is, guys, we get used to rejection because we get rejected the majority of the time. If we go out and shoot at a female, even the best of us may be hitting 10, 15%. Everybody else maybe 1 or 2%. So 90, 98, 99 times out of 100, you failing. Oh, she's calling me right now. But you got to get used to it. And the ones that can't take rejection, they get denigrated by other men. Like, bro, that's not cool. What you tripping for? She said no. Go find you another one. There's more women than men. Go get you another one. Stop tripping. So we don't respect it either. It ain't like we pushing other guys. Well, if that bitch rejects you, you need to blow up. No. Guys don't push that shit. And guys that react that way are denigrated as far as guys go.
Right.
Like, nigga, hell no, because what if you shot at my sister and she told you no, you gonna wild out, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah. I've never seen a man take another man to a girlfriend's house to fuck up a vehicle or do some weird shit like that. So, like you said, I agree that men don't encourage. Now, a man may do it on his own, right? I'm not saying I've never seen a man go do something bitch like, but I've never seen a man support another man in that behavior by carrying him over and doing that. But I've seen plenty of women record the shit for them and encourage the girl to do shit, and they're looking crazy when the motherfucker get arrested. That they go with their homegirl just to watch them crash out. So yeah, I would definitely agree. Men don't encourage other men to participate in those behaviors. The Asian women used to be the ones they get. Yeah, the Asian women are getting westernized. I don't like it. You know, that was something that was on
Slowly
the
but
bucket
surely,
list.
yeah.
But I'm thinking we erase that off the bucket list because they getting worse than the white women. Like it's getting wild out here. Oh man, yeah. but that's the thing though. But that's the difference between men and women though, when you're talking about rejection, is that 9 times out of 10, even with rejection, if a man rejects a woman, he still looks at as the bad guy by other women.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Now, if
you have your sexuality question and all that.
Yeah. But if a woman rejects a man, then she ain't got to speak to you. She ain't got to. It's a sense of you're not good enough. You should be honored to be in her existence, even though the bitch ain't shit and half the shit she got on is fake. So, it's just this weird thing. But kind of like Shannon said, we accept it. We accept the role. And I kind of agree with Shannon said earlier, and I would like to know your thoughts. Should society just be honest about what they're doing? Do you think men would take it differently if they did?
What you mean if society was more about what you're doing? What you mean?
So he basically said, instead of saying pushing all this women's equality, and I want to make sure I don't misquote, but instead of saying we're doing women's equality, we want everybody to be equal, just say that we are, how do you put it? I want to say basically supplementing women's happiness at the expense of men.
Oh, they ain't gonna never say that.
But do you think men would receive things differently if society was honest about what they were doing?
No. Because it don't really matter what you say. You really have to do something about it. The reason why men in this country don't want to get married because the marriage laws are bullshit. And to truly be honest, they're bullshit for the kids. The ones that suffer more than anybody. Men and women have been fighting all the time, but the kids is the main ones suffering. They're the ones not getting what they need.
Yeah.
And it's extremely evident. But don't nobody want to admit their fault in the shit. Men don't have a choice but to admit their fault in the shit. Why? Because they have to live out the consequences. The women don't. A man can say anything he wants, but he still got them consequences on him. And the government and that is back to make sure that he pays.
Well, let's start learning this new game. There's some new child support game out there. That's all I'm gonna tell y'all. If you willing to do your reading and do your research, this is why they don't want the TikToks out there. It's a lot of info getting leaked out there. Niggas is starting to wake up and learn what's really going on with this child support shit. And learning that they have actually been volunteered into a program. And when you volunteer, that means something different than, something that's mandatory. So you got to understand what's truly going on. But that's all I can say about that. Okay. So what do you think is the answer?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So my thing is what do you think, Dan? I mean, are we just going to continue to separate until we just are all segmented in different areas of society, or does one group eventually wither out? I mean, what do you feel like is going to happen if we continue to have these movements like the 4Bs and the MGTOWs, and you got a lot of individuals who should be together deciding to go in different directions?
No, I think, but that's part of it. I don't think they should be together. Basically, the way that this ends, men win. Women gonna lose every time. They're gonna lose every time because here's the cold fact, ladies. Y'all don't want to go back. You don't want to go back, and I can't blame you for that. But the way that you're pushing, it's going to go back. Because if you destroy society as it is without any other plan to how it's going to actually work, with nothing that has been proven to work, it's going to delve back into where it started. You don't want to give up no pussy? We need to repopulate? I don't need to go further than that.
Maybe that's why they really coming up with all these artificial wombs and shit. Maybe they realize women are slowly trying to make themselves obsolete. So they're just gonna start making these artificial baby chambers at this point.
No, but but even with that shit, I don't like that shit either. Because even though a lot of people may think just because of the way I speak that I hate women, I don't. I still know, I know that we need them. We need women. And in particular, for niggas like me.
Why
For
is that?
niggas like me, I need somebody that's the opposite of me to calm me the fuck down. Because I'm on go 24/7. But if I can find that place where I don't have to be on go, I can relax. So when I do have to be on go, I'm well rested and more mentally prepared. I need a woman too.
What percentage
But I
of
know
women?
there's only.
I'm sorry. Go.
No, go ahead.
I would say, what percentage of women
No, go
do you
ahead.
feel like actually provide a comforting space? So the women that you've dealt with, how many of them would you say have provided you a comforting space? Not even necessarily
10%.
physical. 10%.
10%. Because we discussed it the other day, and even though Spitz had a problem with my little survey, but even the women know that it's about 10% of women that are actual ladies. 1 out of 10, especially and I'm speaking in the black community because I've never dated outside my race. Never have. I would, but I haven't. So about 10%, 1 out of 10.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see it somewhere being
Yeah.
along those lines, especially in this day and age. And salute to Shannon. I appreciate the support. So yeah, I mean it's a wild deal. We're in a crazy place. So you think that people are just eventually going to fade out those who are not a part of the traditional way? You think they eventually just kind of go in their own corners and deteriorate?
Yes, because the women who refuse, they're gonna eliminate themselves from society. They're gonna take their ball and go home. But nobody wanted your ball in the first place. And then when you want to play with somebody, they ain't going to play with you because you taken your ball and went home so many times. You kept yourself away. That's on you.
That is a good point. Ever since we've been giving women all these rights and privileges, letting them vote and stuff, things have been getting a little different around.
And I believe in equality of opportunity, but I do not believe in equality of outcome. I do not. I believe every woman should have an opportunity to do whatever it is that she wants to. But if it don't work, it just don't work. You got to find something else. You got to figure something else out. You're not entitled to any fucking thing. You have to earn it. That's the way it works. And it ain't just for women. It's for everybody. You have to earn it. Because some people say, well, respect isn't given, it's earned. Well, there's a modicum of respect that you're given initially, just on GP. But then you have to earn the utmost of it. That's just how that works. Oh, damn, this nigga done showed up already.
J-Mel, what's the motherfucking deal? Time traveling Texas, what's the motherfucking deal? Yeah,
what up, Melly?
It's been a very scary what the future looks like. Man, the future's gonna be terrible because again, like I say, what has happened, man, I feel I don't even know, man. All I know is that if y'all are raising daughters right now, take care of them. Protect them with everything you got. Then I'm gonna leave it like that because the forces that the ones that look like they're positive role models and positive forces, and y'all can all see the negative. they are attacking, period, because these are the most vulnerable individuals in our society right now, right? And they're lost. They have no guidance, and I feel for the most of them because the most of them are being raised by women who don't know any better, who are also caught up in the trap, right? And we
Yeah.
present them with these lies, and they believe it because you know they prefer to look at the TV, they prefer to listen to the celebrities instead of doing due diligence and research, and they're not going to look at things that doesn't coincide with their own personal beliefs. So it's a wild world, man. Because I think they're gonna have it to worse. These young niggas now, like you've been saying, niggas don't give a fuck. These niggas, these young niggas, they hate these bitches. Like these young niggas hate women. Like
True.
it's different. Like you still got a few old school niggas out there, but like, these young niggas don't give a fuck. It's just a hole, and that's just what it is. Like they hate these bitches. Like I said, you saw the little 15-year-old set up crash dummy, and I'm pretty sure one of them jacking niggas was fucking with her, and no telling how old them niggas was. So we looking at the one nigga like, oh, he's a pedophile, but I wouldn't be surprised if the jackers were some pedophiles too, because why is she running and doing all this crash dummy shit for him if she ain't actively involved? And then they crash out, they kill her motherfucking ass, right? Like,
Yeah. Who approached her in the first place? Who put that idea in her head that this is number one, this is the thing to do, and number two, that it's a good move and that there won't be consequences to this shit or possibilities that you could really lose your life over a car that ain't even yours. That even if you do take to a chop shop or whatever, you ain't gonna get that much money for it, or if you decide to joyride in it, it lands your ass in prison. Like everything is downhill from there. It's just not a good decision. And she's 15. Where the fuck is her parents at? Why do they not know where she is and who she's with? But if you have a dad that's always on, for lack of a better term, on top of his daughter and what she's doing, or try to keep himself involved in her life, it's something wrong with him. He needs to loosen up the grip. No, the fuck you don't. Now you need to hold on to them tighter than ever before in human history, because everybody's out to get them.
Y'all seen the shit that was in Houston not that long ago, and this is why I say fathers matter. But you can't say these things. The little 12-year-old who basically left the house, and they found out, I want to say in either in Austin or somewhere. I can't remember if she was in Dallas or here in Houston. And the mama sit there and let her go out. She 12 at night, talking about I'm finna go take a walk to the park, and got on a halter top.
Man, hell no.
That mama need to be beaten, the daughter need to be beaten, because you know exactly what the fuck is going on. But what it is this is the behavior her mother is engaged in, and so she sees it acceptable. Because no reasonable, sensible mama is letting a fucking 12-year-old go out at no fucking midnight. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck no.
And you ain't got no say so. But this is the problem when women start feeling like because their feelings were repressed and their emotions were pushed down and withheld, they weren't allowed to voice themselves. It's for a good reason. Right, it's not to say that women don't know, but a lot of times when you operate emotionally, you're operating wrong, right? And you're just feeling a kind of certain way, but not seeing what the big picture is. You only see how it impacts you and affects you. It's generally when women operate from emotions, they're operating from a very selfish angle. It's not for the greater good of everybody involved. It's just for their own feelings and immediate well-being. And a lot of times women don't see that, and they think that, well, you're dismissing my emotion. It's not the case. But I'm thinking about everybody, not just you specifically or me, myself specifically, in a matter like this. But instead, men get negated because you didn't take her feelings into account. Her feelings would have got us fucking killed. Or her feelings would have got us in some deep shit. So no, I didn't. And I probably won't. But, you say something like that, you are a bad guy. So there it is.
Yeah, because I watched a video yesterday. It was a portion of the Joe Budden podcast, and unbelievable, because this is not normal for me especially. But they was talking to you know who Flip is, right? Queen Flip, fat nigga, making them crazy ass videos.
Yeah, I think
yeah, they was telling him about how he basically interacts with his either daughter or his kid or whatever, and he said, that he should listen to them and their feelings and all that because they're a human being. And he was like, I ain't trying to hear none of that shit. I don't give a shit how he or she feels about anything I'm telling them. They're going to do what the fuck it is I tell them to do. Point blank, period.
So
and they was like, no, that's, yes. And it wasn't just you know, what's that chick name? The chick from the show, the old video vixen. Oh, I can't think of her name. But it was Joe Budden and the other two dudes too, trying to tell him that he was wrong. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with you niggas? And that's what Flip said. He said, y'all niggas brainwashed with this shit. He said, no. I understand that motherfuckers, he didn't, I'm paraphrasing here. He understood that motherfuckers is going to come for his kids in any way that they can get to them. His job is to not allow that shit to happen. His job is to be the shield. If you're going to get to my kid, you got to come through me first. That's a job of a fucking father or a dad in this sense. The father makes the kids, the dad raises them. So that's a dad's job. But then people want to tell him that, no, you should loosen the leash. Man, hell no. Hell no. Because kids don't have no idea of the dangers that's around here. And even women, they think that everything is cool. You know, we got police, fire departments, everything all set up. You really forget how cruel this world can be at any given moment in time. And you need to be prepared for that moment at any given moment in time. Men understand that because that's our reality as the protectors of society. We understand that. Women don't, because they don't protect shit but they feelings. That's it. And then wonder why we're at odds with each other. It's because we don't see the world the same, because we live a different existence within the exact same structure.
I agree with, let's talk about it, they should be. But if you don't have people on the same accord, that shit can go wrong real fast, because again, women value fucking opinions and feelings too much. And a lot of times it's the women who undermine the dictatorship and allow for these little excuses because, oh, well, they're not smiling, they're not happy. Shit, I'd rather them be fucking unhappy and safe, you know what I'm saying, than fucking smiling and
exactly
fucking box up the river fucking somewhere. But like I said, but when you don't have that unified front, that's where things go wrong.
Yeah, because emotions are temporary. Yeah, you could be mad at me right now, but you'll get over it eventually. You might not even understand why I did what I did until maybe later on in life, because we all experienced it. We didn't like that shit when our mama was on our ass, and let's be real, most of us were raised by our mother. We didn't like that shit, but it wasn't until we got to be an adult and we started to see what it is she was seeing, and was like, oh shit, I did not know none of this shit was like this. Now I see what mama was talking about, and then you grow to appreciate it. I'll take that and you survive than you to fall victim to some bullshit because I was too much of a fucking coward to put my foot down and tell you how the way shit really works and how things really are. I'm on the phone. Yeah. That's more important. So that's why I have no problem telling woman or man or child, fuck your feelings. Because life don't care about your feelings. Reality don't care about your feelings. I want you to make it. I want you to survive and thrive. You can worry about your feelings later. We got to get you to where you want to be first. And come up with some kind of plan of how you're going to do that. What does it look like? And once you get there, what do you think that's going to entail? First, you got to get there. But then after you get there, what it looks like. Because think about it. You got all these people going to college, right? They participate in a 4-year up to an 8-year degree. Then they get out into the actual field that they went to school for, and they don't like it. So you did all that shit, invested all that time, money, sweat, and tears to get into some shit that you don't care to do. And it happens more often than not.
Yeah. Something that ain't feasible for society, and then you mad that this ain't a real thing because you didn't do any research prior to. That's the wild shit about it. Or what is it? Go get into women's studies, or go get into something that there's no real market for, and you're mad that there's not a market for it because you didn't do your due diligence.
When it comes to stuff like that, Honcho, I understand. You know, a woman taking women's studies, that's fine. But why would you major in that?
Yeah, that's
I could see you taking the course just to get the information and to be taught. I got a problem with that. But why would you make like that's specifically what you're going to school for? Is to understand what the fuck you already are. That makes absolutely no sense. You're gonna get women's studies one way or another, as long as you keep breathing. You're gonna find out what it is to be a woman.
Yeah, we ain't got no option.
I don't get that. That to me that's just crazy. Well, I want to know what other women went through. They went through the same shit your ass gonna go through. Except you're gonna have it easier. And you don't even appreciate that.
Crazy part is they like to absorb other women's issues and make it like a part of something that happened to them, even though you've never experienced this a day in your life. You've never gone through these things a day in your life, but because you went and got this the cumulative story of all these different women who've gone through different things, but you could do about any fucking group in the world. Now everybody else is so fucking bad. Everybody else is so terrible. Instead of looking at the life that you have been given, that you have been blessed with, especially being born in America and all the opportunities that we have here, um, you wake up every day and look for the worst thing going. That's why I say women and niggas who complain about racism every day are some of the worst motherfuckers on the planet, the most
Facts.
miserable people around the planet to be around. And then the women who complain about racism are the hands down worst. Like, how do you wake up choosing to be miserable? How do you wake up looking for misery? That doesn't happen to you. That's happened to somebody. Like, that's why I don't get behind a lot of these things. It's like, it's sad. I'm sure it does happen, but it's not happening to me. So I can't get behind every misery case that comes up in the fucking news and then act like I've suffered some trauma behind it, you know. But
Right.
yeah. So there we go. Okay. All right. Well, any other thoughts, Mr. Professor Trill?
No, that's it. That's all I had.
Well, I appreciate you calling in this afternoon, sir, and sharing your thoughts with us.
All right, Chief.
All right. Shout out to Trill. All right, so this is what we about to do. It is about that time. Well, be a little we y'all can't say ain't extended den. We rock 3 hours in the den. 3 on the dot since I talked a little bit over. And make sure we had plenty of time to take calls, right? We will be rocking this evening, 9 p.m. Gotta get some stuff set up for the sauce. I'm gonna make it run a little quick. But yeah, we'll be rocking tonight. Right. I'm super happy. Thanks to everybody who supported via super chat. It's good to know that that's a thing. Oh, this is what we're gonna do. I forgot I can do this. Is it gonna let me do it? It ain't gonna let me do it. It ain't. Shit. Yeah, that's not gonna let me do it yet. 'Cause I know on the sauce I can do gift memberships, but it won't let me do it now. Maybe I'll have it figured out by the end of the day. I'll make sure everything's done, and maybe we can do a couple of gift memberships in the which question? Yeah, I was definitely surprised that it got monetized. I was expecting to see, fuck you, nigga, you trying this shit again? And I was like, oh, y'all must have made a mistake. So let's take that and run with it. But I appreciate y'all. Thank you to each and every one of you again. It is my honor. It is my privilege. But more than anything, it is truly my pleasure to get to chop it up with you wonderful people every chance we get. My apologies for last night's den. Just wasn't just did not have the juice and had to get some things ironed out. So I appreciate y'all for making it through that nonsense. But again, tonight, 9 p.m. I still got plenty of topics. I got like 3 or 4 topics that I have thumbnails for. So I'm not sure which one I'm gonna do. We could either redo the parenting conversation we were supposed to have last night, or let's see. I got a couple of. I know what we're talking about tonight. I know exactly what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm not gonna say tonight's gonna be a talking dirty after dark, but we're gonna talk about something this evening. Oh man. But again, thank you all. I appreciate it. And then you slide to the Discord. I dropped the link in there. I'll be in there. Again, you know, what's the saying? Don't meet me there, beat me there. Blickety. Too late now, I'm already in that thing. So with that being said, again, I appreciate y'all, man. Take care of yourselves on this Good Friday. All of y'all who have off, all of you guys who are gonna spend time with family. If we don't speak again until, you know, whatever. Take care of yourself, man. I want to make sure I see y'all in the next den. And we may, like I say, we may be getting more into the day dens. I ain't saying I'm doubling den every day, but I think we got to do a little bit more day den content. I got some stuff I need to record. So God damn you, Delta. What do you think? But I look like a ninja turtle. With that being said, adios. Until later. All that good stuff. Pin message, link, all that good stuff. I'm out.